What's next?
Take on the world's best. Show him who's boss.
Hey, Rick, don't do it. I saw the look in his eyes. This guy is crazy.
Your brother is paralyzed. He can never walk again.
Tell me where he is.
Only way you'll find him is inside the ring, and you are not good enough!
Revenge is a dangerous mood. You must learn to be faster than any punch or kick.
Tong Po is a killer. He's not gonna let you out of that ring alive.
I'll win that fight. For you and me.
Just want to punch.
Nice.
Punch and kick stuff.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude. It's like Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's very, very interesting to see his career.
This was right. This was right. Yeah, right when it started to kick off, quite literally.
Yep, exactly. Dude, yeah. There's so many nice tropes that are in the movie as well. I think it's a good movie.
It's good. It's got some product of its time stuff going on, but
Yes.
you know, like you can't
Some
fault
Blue Lagoon kissing.
Yeah, you can't
scenes,
fault
you
the
know?
movie for having some tropes of the era. You know, it's gonna be. But we actually have the director is in the crowd. Everybody, David Worth out in the crowd.
Good evening, David Worth. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can
People
speed
start
up
to
the
trickle in, yeah.
intros.
Yeah. So I'll.
So yeah, man. So we
So
can
yeah,
start
our
breaking
first
down the
guest. Unfortunately, I originally had my my old Muay Thai instructor was lined up to be an expert guest, but he unfortunately is sick, so he won't be able to attend. I'll try to work him in a future stream,
dude.
perhaps like for Bloodsport or something.
Or
But,
for Warrior or something like that.
yeah, but I
That's a
have to.
pretty
You're
good
just
idea.
gonna have to lean on my kickboxing knowledge as his 568th best student of all time. So, but our first guest today, he's been on the show before. He's actually a champion of Versus. Thank you, Gooch. And he is also an ISKA certified referee, which we will lean on some of his expertise as well. That's the Gooch. I already said his name. But...
Yo, what's up, everyone? Thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, dude, it's a pleasure, man.
Dude, his channel's blowing up lately. Everybody's doing well right now, I think.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
great, man. It's great. And plus,
Subscriber
Gooch, man,
season.
I'm so happy to have you on like the show because I've always been trying to get on your show, but since it's the work, man, the hours have been killing me. So
I
it's
can't
great
get on
to
his
see
show,
you
and
again.
I'm in a much better time zone than you are for it.
Yeah, dude.
For you, he starts at like 3 a.m.
Dude, sometimes when I have like work in the morning, I'm like, oh man, especially right now because the past like 3 weeks we've been preparing for sales, which start on Wednesday. So like the summer sales, and it's been hectic, dude. Tired. It doesn't even begin to explain how tired I am. So
people are starting to trickle in, getting some people.
Hopefully, when all that stuff flies by, dude, I'll be back on your channel. Because I like Demon Slayer Mugen Hashira. If you guys are ever doing the movie, I'm a big fan.
The plan is to do that movie. Yeah, so
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
all
and
right.
Dark Hour, the door's always open for you. So
I'd love to. I was getting angry. I couldn't attend your X-Men one because of the time, so I had to leave the group. I was like, it's just pissing me off. I can't join.
yeah.
And our next guest, she's making her debut. I met her. We were talking about Rocky over on Cannoli Sasquatch's channel. So as soon as this came up, I was like, I gotta ask her for this. This is a great film for her. And she was like, oh, I have a huge crush on Jean-Claude Van Damme, so I'm definitely coming on. And I was like, he's not gonna be there, right? Like, but it's Cassie Cage, cult classic Cassie Cage.
What's up, man? I'm so glad to be here. This is like growing up as a kid, huge Jean-Claude Van Damme fangirl. Absolutely 100%. So this is one that I definitely remember watching as a kid and trying to mimic all the moves and stuff. Like that's always been like my thing, like with Rocky even or a Bruce Lee flick. I always wanted to mimic all the, the fighting moves and stuff. So this is definitely one of them that definitely holds a soft spot in my heart as a kid. And it's cool to have the director here to talk about it. It's is very, 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 very much a product of its time and love it.
So if you're gonna say something bad, just remember He's listening, everyone. I mean, we'll be fair. You know, like there's like I said, there's gonna be parts to it where we're like, okay, this doesn't hold up so well, you know.
This
But
is a
you gotta
love
remember,
letter.
it's also a 35-year-old movie, so it's yeah.
Yeah, dude, Jean-Claude Van Damme when he was when he was at his well, starting to get to his peak, man. I consider this some peak Jean-Claude JCVD as we call him. You know?
Well, there's usually especially with action stars, there's always that like 3 movies that are in there you have to watch, kind of their trilogy. And I always say with Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's this, Bloodsport, and I bounce back and forth, but usually land on Universal Soldier.
Oh, dude, wait,
Yeah.
what do you think? You know, what's the other one except for Universal Soldier?
Well, if you're gonna go more the like pure martial arts route, probably Lionheart. But if you want to talk about in general his career, like starting trilogy that really made him, I would say Universal Soldier is a little bit more influential for him because it broke him away from he had already done Cyborg, but it broke him away from the pure martial art.
Dude, yeah, I'm with the Universal Soldier for like the trilogy for him. I think that would be one of his most
like
iconic
almost every actor has. I mean, like you have Arnold has like, you know, Conan, Predator, Terminator 2 is often the ones that they say, you know, Stallone, Rocky, Rambo, and Throw Mama from the Train.
Oh, dude. Dude, listen, people hate Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Yeah. I'm a big fan of that movie, dude. If we ever cover it on,
I'm sorry, that's the one I meant. I'm sorry, I from the train. Dude, yeah, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Sorry, I screwed up there.
I knew what you meant though.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was laughing.
It was something about a mama. Yeah, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Sorry, that's the one.
Yeah, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Oh, dude. Yeah, but I mean, I guess since we've got our panel assembled, we can kind of dive into the first times that we saw the movie. But just before that, hey to everyone in the chat. I've been replying to you guys. Let me go up. So of course, David Worth. Hello, sir. Who else? Oh, look, we've got Dark Hour in the chat.
Yes, this is my channel after all. Yeah, we got, people are trickling in. We're it usually takes about like a half hour for people to realize we're on.
Eraserhead, hello, Melvin. Hi, Melvin.
Got Sammy Three-Peat out there.
Wait, dude. I'm going through them. I'm going through them. Philip Morgan, hello, man. No relation to Arthur Morgan, maybe not. I hope so. That could be cool. Professor R2, the one and only. Tim's Talk. Hey, Tim, on your left. Well, on your right then. Of course, Flaccid, great video, man. All the House of the Dragon stuff, the coverage, man, it's been fantastic. And then who else? Maybe I missed someone. Oh, of course, the Pumpkin King himself, the King of Gord. There he is. Gord. Oh yeah, and
finally, and with our new time slots, I was finally able to schedule him for a show in the near future.
Awesome, dude. Oh, hey, Sammy Three-Peat, man. I had to miss Gord's Nightcrawler show, which I was booked for like 6 months ago. I'm
still upset with that movie that it wasn't about Nightcrawler from X-Men.
Oh, get out of here, dude. All right, well, since we've got everyone in the chat, hey guys, let's do it. So I guess we'll start with Cassie. Triple C, since you are you're a first timer on Two Hoes. There we are. So what was your first experience? Yeah, first time ho. There we go. What was your first experience with Kickboxer, and what did you think of it?
Catching it on cable, baby. Anything martial arts I was always obsessed with. I was watching Bruce Lee flicks as far back as I can remember. And I was always obsessed with wanting to find anything like martial arts related. I was sitting there watching Power Rangers for that sort of thrill.
Hell yeah.
Anything. And really watching Jean-Claude Van Damme is like, oh wow, like I loved his style. Even though it's like he was like that white dude that was trying to be Asian, it felt like to me, but I didn't give a shit. I was like that kid that wanted to be Asian too, just because like, bro, they know how to kick people's ass. Like,
I wouldn't have been able to tell that from your room behind you.
As a kid, you don't really pick up on a lot of stuff. It's just like this dude knows fucking martial arts and he's a badass and he's kicking ass and really watching it as a kid, I would want to mimic, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's the hero, and I would always get behind the hero as a kid. Because I guess that's like the thing for me now. It's like I want to be like the bad guy, or I agree with the bad guy as an adult, but usually more often than not, it feels like. But as a kid, you always want to be like, you're always with the good guy, and you want to
You
see
always
him
want to be
save the
the
day.
underdog.
Yeah, too, no doubt. I've always been the type to support the underdog, and as a kid, I remember watching it on cable television, man, and I don't know if it was censored or not. Probably was, given how like this is. I would assume this is like a horror rated film. Looking back at it, so that
I think so.
and it's wild.
So the thing about this movie, and we'll talk it when we're gonna actually have David Worth on in a couple of weeks for an interview, and a lot of things I'm gonna ask him because there's a lot that was changed about this film. A lot of things cut, shortened, some voiceover dubbing. You can catch it sometimes, and it's hard to find like the original copy of this movie. So a lot of the ones we all probably watched is the edited version. So and I have a feeling a lot of the stuff that was cut was for ratings purposes.
Oh yeah, definitely. They were definitely pushing it, and I appreciate that. For me, I love film that is just like we don't give a shit. We're going hard R and we don't care. Like like I love it. So,
we got release the David Worth cut.
Absolutely, 100%.
The director's cut.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting movie, especially to see how it's weird because at the time, what was the rating system? 89. Yeah, because rating systems were still kind of different back then.
Well, the end of the 80s was just terrible, especially for slasher films. I remember, Friday the 13th Part 7 film was completely ruined by censorship and how the industry was back then, which is a shame. So the fact that they got this far with what they were doing with Kickboxer is a testament to just, I guess, the director himself just doubling down like, fuck you, I'm doing what I want to do. And apparently it got censored to hell even so, but the fact that he got as much forward as he did, I got to give him props.
Yeah, and shout out to GCVD, dude. Dude was killing it in that role for sure. All right,
especially that dancing scene. Can't wait to get to that one. That's my favorite scene in the whole movie by far.
Some of the best dancing you'll ever see. Listen,
it's very dance fighting. It's very great.
Gooch, what about you, man? What was your first experience with Kickboxer?
I'm kind of similar to Cass. Like, I wish I was Asian so I could do this. I grew up. I grew up. Boxing, and then I did taekwondo, and then I graduated into wrestling and kickboxing and Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu and all that. But I remember watching these movies. The first time watching it, my buddy brought the film over because we were into like Jim Cotta, anything Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Sammo. Like it was just like it was a must.
Especially Sammo, dude.
My buddy brought over some Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I didn't know who he was, and all of a sudden started watching. I knew what's his name there, Alessio, the Terminator. I know him as the Terminator, the kickboxer.
Alessio,
Alessio. I know him.
I gotta pull up. Hold on, I have a picture from his record. It's pretty legit. Let me pull that.
I think he only had 2 losses in
his entire career, and that was amongst boxing and kickboxing. I have it. I have his record. Hold on, let me pull that up.
70 or 80 wins. Like it was a ridiculous amount of wins. Him and the Iceman, Jean-Yves Thoreau, the Iceman, famous kickboxer. Those guys I idolized as a kid, like watching them, fight and stuff like that. Seeing Jean-Claude Van Damme, at first I was like, this is like a lot of ballerina, kickboxing style, and it was cool to watch. It was watching him go through his career. It's interesting. It's fun. 89. It's like 1989. Like, I mean, you got to take it for what it's worth. I think this movie, all those movies back then were made like very low budgets. So
I think it was only like a $2 million budget for this movie.
It says $2.7 million budget with 50 million box office. However, the box office, I don't know if it counts cinema or if it counts, the lifetime gross.
I think it was the cinema, actually. I think that was
box office, you'd think.
Probably,
Let me pull up. Let's see if I can get this as.
But when anyone kickboxing, like it's Chuck Norris is the god of kickboxing, but I mean
So
you know,
supposedly
they
this
follow
was
real-
originally meant for Chuck Norris, and it
Oh, really?
supposedly there was, and it ended up with a different production company. Perhaps David Worth can confirm that in the chat. But
This
Oh,
was
Well, I'm
Cat
kind of
Cannon.
glad. I'm kind of glad they passed up Chuck Norris because Jean-Claude Van Damme is definitely a lot nicer to look at, in my personal opinion.
So let's
but
see.
he's
So
charming
here
in
is Dennis Alessio's record here, which has a very unique thing at the end there that I found hilarious when I was reading it. So in professional boxing, he was 7 wins, 1 loss by knockout, and then kickboxing, 72 fights, 68 wins, 63 by knockout, 1 loss, 1 draw, 2 no contests, and 5 children. I don't know.
All right.
but the one thing I do know about his wins, like a high percentage of his wins were by knockout. Like he knocked everyone out by. When
He was an absolute unit. I mean, he was. You look at pictures of him before this movie, because he was retired by the time this movie came out. When he was an absolute unit though. When he was in his career, he was like shredded.
Oh yeah, dude was literally shredded.
I just found it funny that they didn't separate that he has 5 children and they just put it in his kickboxing record. Like, just
you know, it's funny because growing up, one of my favorite besides Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris was Black Dynamite, or not Black Dynamite. What's his name there? The tall black guy with the karate guy.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No.
Jim Kelly?
Yeah, Jim Kelly. Thank you.
Kelly is fucking amazing. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God.
love Jim Kelly. His
Absolutely.
films were great. It's like those were great to watch. But
He's like in Enter the Dragon, it's like Bruce Lee,
Yeah.
obviously, and then it's like Jim Kelly.
Jim Kelly. I want Jim Kelly.
He has the best one-liners in that film.
Yeah.
We'll eventually do Enter the Dragon. I feel like that needs to be like a special occasion film. That has to be like episode 100 or like our 50th martial arts film or something. Like you can't just do that one randomly.
Dude, we have an entire month dedicated to martial arts anyways.
This was originally listed in that month, and then I removed it for to more sync it up with its anniversary.
Yep.
So, but,
all right.
Yeah.
Yo, Jacob. Of course, Michael J. White was black in Black Diamond.
Yeah, he was Michael, but he was in a film. I can't remember his film, like Jim Kelly's. He had a few, but there was one that stood out.
Uninspired. Well, Gooch tries to remember that. How about you? What was your first experience with the movie?
Oh, so actually, I didn't even remember. I thought that I had I thought that I had never seen Kickboxer ever. And then when I started watching the movie, well, first it was actually when I started cutting the trailer. I was like, this seems awfully familiar. And then when I watched the movie, I remembered that my best friend actually forced me to watch Kickboxer one day when we were like getting really, really baked. And it was like, dude, Kickboxer.
Change it down.
If
you have to watch this movie, whether you like it or not.
For real, dude. It was like, yo, Kickboxer, you've never seen it. It's one of the best. It was like, we got to watch it. I was like, all right, dude. Just put it on and watch it. And I actually remembered a lot of the movie. I probably didn't even need to rewatch it for the stream. So I had only seen it once before. And I remembered almost everything from it, which is probably a testament to how memorable of a film it is. And I really did like it. I've seen it 3 times since Wednesday, I guess, to prep the stream. So yeah,
I watched it about 20 minutes ago on
I did actually finish watching it like 30 minutes ago too. Anyways, so yeah, I liked it. I think there's a lot to say. I think it's a very, very, very tight script. Gets where it wants to go incredibly quickly, but it still adds a ton of elements that you can break down and that you can miss on the first watch. It just gives you everything you need to know. And the acting is great from everyone. I think cinematography is good as well. And Lady R&D. And I think it'll be a good breakdown. What about you, Dark Hour?
So I agree with you for the most part. So a lot of times people will put this in the same basket as Bloodsport because they came out really close to each other. Obviously, it's kind of similar story beats in a way. I would say of the two, there's less going on in Kickboxer. It's a more linear storyline. But what I will say is that I think it has by far way better cinematography and pacing. The middle, there's a middle chunk a little bit where I I'm like, okay, they did the same thing twice, but that happened a lot with these movies because there was a lot of montages back in the 80s. But there is some real iconic moments too. The stretching with the ropes is very iconic. Obviously, I would say actually that the fight at the end of this one is more well known and well remembered than the one from Bloodsport. Bloodsport is the one people will say usually is the more remembered film, but I feel like everybody remembers Tong Po in that fight with the glass on the hands. It's just and I mean I can't remember the first time I watched it, but I remember like I was young. I probably shouldn't have been watching it. That was me with a lot of movies. My dad was one of those guys. He was like my son was born in 1988. Here's the movies he's going to watch starter pack in 1995. It was all like Predator, like stuff like this. But I've always had like a real soft spot for Kickboxer because, when I was coming up through martial arts, obviously I gravitated towards grappling, but Muay Thai was my striking art that I chose. And I love the history of Muay Thai. I love the history of how it's a culture. It's not just a martial art. It's not just a thing that they do. It's really ingrained in the Thai culture to the point where like there's kids who are, by like age 15 have like 30 professional fights. It's insane.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I just one day I hope that I can see like the true original cut. That's the other. So there is a guy that I talked to briefly. He's assembled like deleted scenes and stuff into like as close to the original cut as you can. I tried to get a hold of that copy, but I wasn't really going to support piracy for my stream, so I just kind of walked away from that. I was like, no, I'm not buying your.
As long as you own the copy, I mean.
Yeah, but still, it's I wasn't
listen.
really...
You wouldn't steal a car, would you?
But yeah, I'm excited. I think that this was probably, I would say this is pretty much, ironically enough, peak Van Damme in the beginning of his career. And he was just it's weird because like Cassie said, it's he's definitely like this blend. He's got, obviously he's not American, he's from Europe, he's Belgian, and but he's got that Eastern and Western kind of thing going on at the same time, which is pretty cool. And I've always liked how that comes out in a lot of his movies. So
all right, well, I guess it's time to start breaking down the movie, man. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Jean-Claude Van Damme. No one says it with a French accent anymore. Actually, that's one thing I realized.
Most people don't even say it completely. They just say JCVD now.
JCVD. Yeah. I love the way that he says Muay Thai because he clearly says it with a French accent. He's like Muay Thai. He's like, all right, cool.
Muay Thai.
But it's interesting because they do add that element as a plot point. It's like, yeah, he grew up in Europe with his mom.
Yes.
So it's like,
yeah,
they accounted for that in the
accent,
script.
yeah.
I'm always super happy that they did that. They don't just go, oh, he has an accent, who gives a shit. They actually put a line in there and a later portion of the movie as well.
And that he even studied ballet growing up, that his mother put him into that. So that accounts for even his style. So they did a good job there.
They did a really good job. That's what I'm saying. Just tiny elements were put into the script that just makes everything have sense. Okay. Gord, you wouldn't pirate a baby. All right. Kickboxer. Oh, one thing I did wanted to mention is I absolutely love the score for the movie in general.
Yes, we will talk about that a lot.
Paul Herzog.
Never surrender.
I want to know.
Really
that's
good.
a guy I got to talk. Whoever was in charge of putting together all the songs, I don't know how he found so many that were so specific to the moment. It was like
So on the nose.
It was fantastic. I was like, and that was a big thing in the 80s. Those like hyper specific songs for exactly what you were watching. But this one did it. It was almost like every song. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what like Team America World Police made fun of it during the entire movie. It's like you have a song for everything. It's like, yep.
Well, the South Park guys are known for that in their films. They're known for putting songs that are high, like basically the lyrics are exactly what's going on at that moment. So they even make fun of themselves in basketball doing that.
Yeah.
All right, so we start the movie off with Eric defending his heavyweight title, and so a lot of the clips that I have are without sound because since we're supposed to have Jaffer with us, gonna break
Oh,
it
yeah.
down. So we've got the next best thing, which is Dark Hour.
Actually,
break
Gooch
down.
probably knows significantly more about this stuff than I do. I never fought. I only ever did like high level grappling tournaments and stuff. I never fought kickboxing matches or anything. I trained it.
Gooch.
I originally was considering going MMA route, but I got a couple concussions and was like, my brain is too important to me. So
Yeah, there is a huge difference, like American kickboxing and Muay Thai, because Muay Thai is the 8-point strikes, right? You can use your hands, your elbows, your knees, and your legs. Where American kickboxing was more of kind of like a traditional boxing style with some kicking, right? And so, and they for the longest time they didn't allow elbows, and
they still separate those rules. Actually, they're still American style. So the ISKA at this point, which I know you would be aware of this, was a fairly young organization in kickboxing, but originally was the International Sport Karate Association was the original name, and they so American kickboxing and by extension Japanese traditional kickboxing are usually a mixture of boxing and karate. And then there's obviously the Muay Thai and the Dutch styles are the ones that have slightly different rules. Muay Thai having, I would say, the least rules, because it's really what it is it's you're actually removing rules to make it so you can use more types of strikes.
It's kind of, it reminds me a lot of box
Facts, Sammy.
which is
Those are facts.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with French boxing, that style.
Yeah, is that the one where you surrender before the fight happens?
Oh my god.
You motherfucker. Dude, yeah, of course. You know, the French, we love to surrender, man. It's in our blood at this point, man. But yeah, French boxing is something that I actually did. Well, school forced us to do French boxing for an entire semester, so that was pretty interesting. So yes, technically I have also been in fights, ladies and gentlemen, but I didn't lose anything.
I didn't have a lot of concussions. That's just how I am. I remember the French. I remember the first time I got a concussion. I was sparring with a kid he was like a 17-year-old kid who was in the diamond gloves, and he was lighter than me. So luckily he was lighter than me because he didn't put me on my ass.
How old were you at the time?
I was like 24, so I wasn't too much older than him. I was still an adult versus a teenager, and he came over the top, and he had been boxing for like his whole life. He just came over the top with this like looping, almost Chuck Liddell style like punch, and it caught me square in the center, and everything slowed down. It was like in the movies where like I was looking around, and it was like I was like, what happened? And I figured it out later. But
it's like you took a hit of slow-mo from Dread. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it was like that. I was like, I figured it out later what had happened, but in the moment I had no clue. I was just like, and I was still getting punched while this was going on. I was like,
there you go. It's the one where you stop for cheese between rounds. Yeah, don't forget the wine, of course.
Well, that's just in the squirt bottle. That's just.
Yeah, it's funny because like weight classes are because like when you watch this, the weight classes is a little off, but I mean, I know when I was like, teaching some kickboxing at my buddy's gym, like I'd be maybe 202, 205, and I was training football players, and they're like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", and 300 pounds, and you could feel the thunder when they punch and kicked, and I'm too stupid to recognize. I like being punched, so it's just like, all right, yeah. Let's go.
At the time, I was probably about 185 at the time. I think I was like a middleweight in jiu-jitsu ranks. And the kid I was sparring against was probably about 165, so probably about 20 pounds lighter. And it was just like, I'm telling you, if he was the same weight class as me, I would have been on my ass. That's how perfect this punch was. It just, I lucked out. He was 20 pounds, 30 pounds lighter than me, whatever it may have been.
All right. Well, at this point, Eric has won. Well, he's defended his heavyweight title successfully, and they are asking him a few questions, like why he doesn't use a trainer. He says that Kurt is there instead, his brother, which I think is another just a little touch where it's like, yeah, he kind of has an ego at this point, so he's not using the trainer. Man. Doesn't really care.
He's one of the cockiest pricks I've ever seen. Oh my gosh.
He's got that great mullet and everything. It's just the whole look just pulls together.
Yeah. But to be honest, as a fighter, you have to have that mentality. You can't let any kind of negativity creep into your mind. you have to think that you're above everyone else when it comes to fighting. It's just
Yeah.
one of the ring things. Like Tyson and everyone like they got in the ring, they just think
you need to believe
invincible.
you're the better fighter.
Yeah.
Because if you believe that you're not the better fighter, then you have already lost most of the fight.
Yeah, dude. Believe. I know it sounds like a cat poster, but it's true.
The
That's
one
a quote
thing
from the
that I
Lego
couldn't
movie.
get over is that he kept calling Jean-Claude Van Damme kid. And it's like,
Yeah.
I understand that he's your younger brother, but this is a grown-ass man right here.
I'm gonna look up. I should have did this before. I should have looked up what their ages were at the time of recording. So let's see.
Well, they're all friends. Like Jean-Claude was friends with a lot of the guys that are in this movie. Like they grew up together. So
Oh my god.
One
Freddie
thing I do
Mercury,
like
crazy.
is the fact that they show Eric at
He
the
was al-
forefront
he
for
was
the
only,
entire
like-
first half of the movie.
He was only a year and a half younger.
Dude, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, you can see Dark Hour just got flashbang. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. I have to have a blacked out screen. If I don't, you see just how ghostly pale I am.
And so yeah, that's the belt. And they do recommend him to go to Thailand, and then he says he's going to go to Taiwan. Then they say nope, Bangkok, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
He's like,
And,
who cares?
Yeah,
Bangkok, Tokyo. I'm kicking ass wherever I go, which is like kind
exactly.
of I think it was like an unintended rhyme.
And it's interesting because the movie gives you all that you need to know about Eric in what, let's say, a minute and a half. Well, okay, 2-3 minutes. That's pretty much it.
I think at this point you're like 4 minutes into the movie. It gets the point across really well, really quickly.
Especially with how they really show Eric at the forefront and Kurt is in the back. I think that also emphasizes on Kurt's journey at the end of the film, where he's really pushed. It just makes it better. And the fact that he doesn't even speak that much the entire time at this point until Eric gets his back broken. So yeah. And ladies and gentlemen,
That has two meanings in 2024. I'm just saying, brother.
Listen, I knew someone was gonna say that, man. I was just waiting for it. I was like, I hope no one notices. All right, well, listen, man, Tong Po broke Eric's back. Listen, take that how you want it. Take that how you want it. No, of course they go to Thailand, and listen, man.
I'm going to reserve my comments.
No, go ahead.
Well, they're kind of known for
Lady boys, you could say.
Yes. I was trying to be polite.
It's never a true Thai experience if you don't directly go from the airport to one of these places.
If you're not bringing someone home and there's a surprise at the end of that particular encounter, it's not. You haven't had the true Thailand experience.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, dude. I also love how it kind of complements, because they didn't need to add this scene, but it kind of complements his ego, because he's like, oh yeah, she wants me, but
sure, Adam, that's what we'll call it.
Yeah. It's kind of like she wants me, but dude, you're clearly
she
taking
wants the
her
champ.
from...
That's what he says. She wants the champ.
Yeah, it's like,
Wants
dude,
to make it with the champ.
you know exactly why she's with you, man. You're probably gonna pay her at the end of this, so it just shows you how over his head he is in general.
One thing I usually laugh at with these movies, but I actually think it works here pretty well, is these guys don't look like they could be brothers at all.
Nope.
They don't look anything alike, but then again, we don't ever see their parents. So like maybe one is of Italian descent, the other's of French descent. So it could have worked out, or like a Belgian descent.
Yeah, technically Belgian, yeah.
Yeah. But like they like it's not too terrible. It's I usually care more with parent kid than I do with siblings. Siblings is like whatever, because I don't look that much like my brother. So
oh yeah, I know a ton of people that don't look alike, but they're real siblings, so I can forgive that. Plus, you can just say it's like European diet versus American diet.
Yeah,
you can
but there's three of them. It's siblings, like trying to cast people that look like they could be siblings, parent, child, and then the most important one, in my opinion, is younger version, older version. That if that one is the most important.
Yeah.
That if you don't get that one right, it throws me right out. Of the three brothers,
Breaks immersion easily.
Yeah. Of the three, the immersion breaker that is the least would be siblings.
Yeah, and so at this point, what they talk about is their, their parents' issues. That's what we were talking about just at this time. So they said that the daddy issues kind of made them stronger. This is where we get the expo dump where we learned that Kurt learned ballet and karate in Belgium. So yeah, I mean, as we said at the beginning, it just complements their style, and it's kind of like fourth wall breaking in a sense, whereas you're kind of justifying the actors themselves and their styles, which fantastic touch. And this is one scene that I do appreciate because you never really see light sparring in movies in general. They're always just going at it directly. So to have a scene like this is pretty unique in itself, which I do appreciate. It's a nice bonding moment. Oh, also Eric is focusing on power, ladies and gentlemen, which will be his
Eric
downfall.
Eric also looks like he has a shit stain on his shorts. I'm just saying.
I've never noticed that, but now I'm never going to be able to unsee that. So.
That was probably from the night before with his little friend.
Yeah. Clearly, she slipped something in his drink. Damn.
The one thing I do like is that, so because Dennis Alessio has real kickboxing experience, and so does Jean-Claude Van Damme, you do get some real authentic looking kicks, which is very important because a lot of times, even in later in Van Damme's career, you got really over the top, almost like fictitious looking kicks. And in this one, the authenticity is there. I mean, obviously in the later fights, they do some things that are a little, for show, but that's a legit kick right there. His toe is pointed out, his hips are open. That is as legit as it gets.
Yeah, because like I don't know how much you've been like when you were like taught when you were doing Muay Thai there, Dark Hour, but like they always talk about rolling the hip over. You're not going up the tree; you're going through the tree. So like
it's like a whip. It's a whip.
You're gonna whip it. You're gonna bring like throw my arm around like people are watching, but you got to roll that hip with it. Like when, so you're gonna get that power from the proper footwork and proper balance, and then you're gonna get that hip rotating.
Yeah, Joffer, my instructor who was supposed to be on the stream, has probably the pound for pound hardest low kick I've ever seen in my life because he used to fight a lot of tall guys. And because he was stockier, and
try holding the pads for Duke Rufus, dude. Like that's not fun. That was not fun.
And he didn't bother to try to go for like high kicks. He would just chop them down like trees.
Oh yeah.
It means so much having actual legitimate fighters playing roles where they're fighting martial arts, because I mean there's so many films where it's like, yeah, let's just get this actor and teach him some basics in martial arts, and then you could tell the difference, and it means a lot having legitimate knowledgeable martial artists involved in a film.
Yeah, especially considering that Van Damme, he was I think he was the director for the fight scenes and the choreographer as well. That's what he's credited as in the beginning. So you've got people knowing exactly what they're doing. And this is as we said before, it's his first kind of big foray into Hollywood, so he does have to prove himself as well, which always adds an element to the film.
Well, this was like the movie that there was expectations behind, because like Bloodsport was like an unexpected success for the most part. And then this one was like, now people knew who he was, so like there was a little added pressure on the fight scenes and stuff.
Yeah, and so we finally get to go ahead, Cassie. What do you want to say?
Oh no, I was just going to bring up I always say that the original Mortal Kombat film is essentially a remake of Enter the Dragon. And when you compare Enter the Dragon, where it's like, yeah, they made sure to get legitimate martial artists to play these roles, versus Mortal Kombat, where it's like you have actors that are playing, martial artists. And while I love the original Mortal Kombat, it is silly in that sense where they're not really comparable in terms of pure skill that you're seeing on screen. So
it's crazy because when I was watching this movie, I actually in my mind I was like, man, Jean-Claude Van Damme could have been great in a Mortal Kombat movie. And then I was like, oh,
well, I thought
he was Street Fighter where he's playing Guile. It's hilarious that he's playing Guile. The dude with the French Belgian accent playing Guile of all things.
Yeah,
the most American person.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Mortal Kombat, like I don't want to go off on this tangent, but I thought Mortal Kombat
go on the
was supposed to be he was supposed to be a part of Mortal Kombat, or there was
Well,
like
it's Johnny
legal
Cage is
thing.
based on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So like the
that
whole
explains a
like
lot.
doing the split nut punch thing, that's Johnny Cage's main move, and that's
Mhm.
obviously from Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloodsport.
Well, you guys are teaching me something right now. And ladies and gentlemen, we can see some foreshadowing over there. Tiger Tong Po in the background. Of course, now we're arriving. It is match day for Eric, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, Kurt is 100% concerned for the safety of his brother because of the fighting style specifically. As we were saying at the beginning of the stream, it's a completely different fighting style to what Eric has been used to. And yeah, he just says a kick's a kick, a punch a punch. We're here to fight. Let's do it. All right, man. But let me play the clip because we're about to get introduced to his opponent. Well,
So
I
one of the
back out of the
crazy
fight
things about the
immediately,
Tong
dude.
Po actor, so Michael, I believe it's pronounced Kisi, is he's like Moroccan Belgian. He's not even Asian.
Oh
And
wow.
so- yeah, like he's like I
Oh,
think they
man.
like I'm guessing that it was mostly makeup to make the eyes work the way they did. Like to make the eye look, but the yeah, if this was made today, there may be like some sort of people like
Crybabies will be out.
people on the internet
Yeah.
being like, how dare you take this role from an Asian
Yeah.
actor.
Asian face.
Dude, don't
But
worry, they're
again,
gonna
he's
cast,
he's friends with Jean-Claude, because Jean-Claude had a lot of his friends doing a lot of these significant roles, which I mean worked for the fight scenes and the choreography. It worked a lot smoother because I mean you could tell that they know how to react, they know how to make it look
how to play
seamless,
off each
like-
other.
Yeah,
Especially, yeah, it's one of those main reasons why Jackie Chan always uses his same stunt crew. They know exactly how to play
Yeah.
off each other, and they get better with time, which is why a ton of Jackie's stunts are always basically perfection at this point. It's always good to have
Yeah, with
a
fight
good
scenes
team.
especially, that familiarity is very important because just a difference of just a reach distance change of a couple of inches is gonna change a lot of the way that everything's blocked for the scene.
Mhm.
So
well, look
Yeah.
at Stallone with Antonio Tarver when he was doing Rocky
Balboa.
Balboa. He got knocked out by Tarver, so I mean because he didn't.
Let's be honest here. Stallone got fucked up by pretty much every
Yeah,
person that
yeah.
ever fought in one of the Rocky films.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There's actually him versus Apollo Creed. He got messed up. Him versus Clubber Lang. He got messed up. His heart stopped against Ivan Drago.
Yeah, true.
Uh,
Who he's a kickboxer actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of funny. But
And so at this point, Eric is still overconfident, and he says that even if he can't match the power, he has the speed, baby. And like a true American, he pushes forward, and it is time for the match. Now, of course,
Eric's really trying to stop him from doing this fight. He's
Yeah, of
refusing
course.
to say it. He's just like,
Nah, it'll be fine.
you see that was a good segue into it, dude.
Kurt's just
I'm gonna
freaking out.
use the shit out of this soundboard.
Now I'm thinking of all the screwed up stunts the show, yeah, during the credits in Jackie Chan movies. Man, always stick for the credits
Yes,
during Jackie Chan movies. It's
Oh
always
my
like,
god, that's
Oh,
you see the whole movie again. It's
Yeah.
exactly.
It goes to
Yes.
show how much effort, how much blood, sweat, and tears is put into a Jackie Chan film.
Oh yeah. Now, of course, the match is starting, and yeah, man, you can see that he's completely outmatched once it begins, and it's not even funny at that point because it's interesting to see the contrast between how at the beginning of the film he was the champion, no one can beat him, and here he's struggling, whereas Tong Po's barely breaking a sweat, he's just enjoying himself.
Tong
Yeah.
Po's a big dude too. Like he's tall.
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he's not like as muscular as Dennis Alessio, but Michael Kesey is a tall dude. So
Mhm.
And in the beginning of the fight, when Eric manages to muster some offense, he is throwing some pretty tough kicks, and it just is nothing for Tong Po.
The
At
thing I
all.
like about this is like he gets him in the plum or
the tie clinch, the plum clinch.
the tie
Tough
clinch.
kick right there.
And you saw that was really evident when Anderson Silva fought what's his name there?
Rich Franklin.
Rich Franklin, who didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, like, the Americans didn't know how to counter
Mhm.
against being in the clinch.
Yeah,
Or
it's-
I call it the plum, but I mean,
Well, yeah, the plum clinch is the real
Plum
term,
clinch,
but a
yeah.
lot of people call it
Yeah.
tie clinch.
yeah.
But yeah.
The plum clinch. That's what
Yeah,
it's called.
it's like it's this one where you hold the back of their head like that. I don't know
Yeah.
why it's called a plum clinch. I'm
Yeah,
maybe
because I'm not exactly the term either. I didn't actually.
You're
know
clenching the plum, I guess. I don't know.
clenching the plum, I guess. But
Well,
yeah,
you got
actually, to
full
get out of
control.
it,
Yeah,
to get out
yeah.
of it, you have to like manipulate the person's neck because you have to basically open their shoulders up, and it's not later on in the the end fight. It's one of the only problems I have with the choreography is that Jean-Claude Van Damme just turns his head and is out of it. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that wouldn't happen. Like,
Yeah, and of course, after this point, you have him saying no, and
The message.
oh, sorry, wrong one.
What the fuck?
Sorry, wrong one.
Finish him.
There you go.
There it is. There it
I
is.
have to say, like, as much as I love Jean-Claude Van Damme, I have to say him and the actor that plays Eric, their acting is fucking atrocious.
Well, I do know that there was some a decent amount of ADR for Dennis Alessio, and you could see it at times.
Oh, you
it
can
wasn't
tell.
as evident in older copies, but now that they've digitally scaled it up, you can see sometimes the lips don't match up. I don't know exactly why that happened. I'm guessing maybe because of the venues. It was hard to get the audio proper.
Well, even the sound quality, sometimes you can tell that it was recorded in a studio with proper equipment rather than just on set. You can just tell with the sound quality. But I guess that's a testament to modern technology, and you take something from the 60s and put it in 4K, UHD. It's gonna be crazy in comparison to watching it in your basic VHS.
Yeah,
So-
a lot of films have had things that have it's almost better to watch it in like
Yeah.
4:3 ratio, old school. Like,
Have you guys watched Speed in 4K by chance?
no,
It exposes everything. Everything is just all the extra cameras. It's over. Like that film is
the
destroyed.
best I've
by
ever
4K.
seen is my name is Earl. So they knew that most TVs at the time were 4:3 ratio, but they were recording in 16:9. So what they did was they put people on the outskirts of the frames with like holding signs and like weird stuff going on. So when it was eventually released on DVD, you could see all the weird stuff that was going on. It was the best way to do it.
Oh my god.
That's pretty smart, man.
It's a
Ah, dude.
testament to insane filmmaking when a film put into 4K is not ruined by the all the extra detail. Like the thing still holds up extremely well at 4K.
I'm not sure who Nadia is asking about. I'm guessing. I mean, that's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, dude.
Not
Probably
That's
Dennis Alessio.
Yeah,
Probably.
Dennis Alessio. If
Probably,
you could confirm by explaining what they look like, we'll tell you.
And yeah, man, it's like no. So that's JCVD over there. I do think that there's only like one. I'd say like 3 or 4 scenes where Jean-Claude Van Damme's
Jean-Claude
acting
Van
is
Damme.
really good. But like Dennis,
He was still a
Alessio,
relatively new actor at this point, so it was and supposedly the way he got there's like a legend about how he got these parts was he was working as like a waiter in a restaurant, and the producers for the production company were having dinner, and he made sure he was their waiter and like just started randomly throwing like roundhouse kicks to be like, look, I'd be great for your martial arts movies, which works way better for kickboxing and karate than it does for jiu-jitsu. It's not like, hey, watch, like fall to your back and like come crawl on top of me, come on.
dude, he should have like staged a fight, man. He should have staged a fight so that he could just take down everyone and be like, "Yep, that was it."
Yes, Jean-Claude Van Damme is the Splits guy. And
Exactly.
This is probably his splittiest film because
It
there's a whole.
is. That we got to get to it, but the whole contraption that they come up with, that can be misconstrued as a whole lot of other things.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
to mention the fact it would have tore the shit out of his groin if he didn't have that flexibility already.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. I love streaming with Cass because she makes me laugh.
I just love all you guys. That's why I invented this show. I wanted to bring on people from all over where I've met you all, and that's what me and Tur decided we were gonna do.
Fuck yeah, dude. Now, of course, we're introduced to one of the coolest motherfuckers around, man. It is Winston. He's right there, dude. In the glasses, he's saying, "Get off me, motherfucker." It's like, yeah, there's 2 more fights left. So he wants to watch his show, and this is the first time that we see him. Now, Tong Po has won. He got the championship belt. He tore it in half, which I don't even know if it's humanly possible to do. I don't think
Tong
so.
Po. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
He's a made man in Thailand. He could just he could break physics if he wants. Apparently,
I'm surprised he didn't need and like smash the actual like.
Yeah,
metal.
that probably would have looked cooler if he would have like beat it. I mean, there's that would have required. It would have been hard to show the belt. You would have had a clear like weld mark or like glue mark down the middle. Then
True. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We probably would have seen it with the 4K edition, you know.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that belt anyway. I thought of all like the championship belts I've ever seen, it was not really the best looking one. That's just the ISKA not really having the greatest looking stuff. But
yeah. So we do get, of course, introduced to Freddy Li. At this point, we don't really know who he is. We just know that he kind of calls the shots around because when they're transporting Eric's body, he just gives them the sign, and they end up throwing this dude outside and locking the door behind them. I do like the fact that they actually just lock the door with a padlock. It's like, nope, you're done. Find your own way to the hospital. That's it. And
they might as well have just like dumped him off of the gurney too. Like, just there you go.
So Winston comes to the rescue, of course, and he takes them to the hospital. And this is where we kind of get, Jean-Claude Van Damme's acting. He's doing it. I do think that one of the big issues with his acting is the accent, man. The accent lines kind of hit
fight you.
Yep.
Leave his accent alone.
Well, the funny thing is like breaking his back is like you have to have a lot of force to break a human back. Like it's almost literally impossible. Like with the snapping in the neck and everything, that's very, very hard to do as well. Like it's not as easy if people just like go up and it's extremely hard to do that.
I used to have a joke with my friends. I used to come from behind like randomly and just I would spin his neck and he'd throw it and make it crack and then just go limp. And like we would do it in front of random people that they thought I killed him. And
you were sick, dog.
It's really difficult to break. The neck muscles are extremely strong. They're carrying around like a 15-pound weight all day. So it's,
Yeah, dude. And yeah, so they kind of find out that Eric is paralyzed. So that's a bad sign. And yeah, this is one of the yeah, it really does suck, man. Especially, well, I don't even know if he would have gotten, let's say, medical treatment sooner, or the good way. I don't even know if that would have helped him at all. So I guess it kind of leaves it up to the viewer for it to be kind of both, so you can see that it's Tong Po and Freddy Li's fault. But this is one of those scenes where I actually think that Jean-Claude Van Damme's acting is good. Oh yeah, of course. You gotta quote it, dude. You're lucky I wrote "come" in that way, dude. So,
no.
And yeah, I do think in this scene we kind of get a bit more about Winston. It displays his characters and some of Jean-Claude Van Damme's acting. So I did clip it. Let me play the video.
Just tell me where he is. God damn it, no! I don't want any fucking part of it. Go home. I don't want your blood on my hands. I got enough already. I'll find him. I don't need your help.
The only way you'll find him is inside the ring.
And you are not good enough.
You don't understand.
You go after him outside the ring and we're dead, all of us. He's too valuable to them. We'll see. Okay? We'll see.
I'm not gonna lie. When Jean-Claude is acting in this movie, he sounds like Corky from Life Goes On. Like he's just it's not it's just like Uncle Richie, I want to live in the room above the garage. It's kind of like it's very
I think he tries really hard to like compensate for his accent, which makes it sound even worse in some instances. But I will say for this particular scene, his acting was like here, like it was just above passable. But the Winston's actor was like so over the top. It like balances. I was like, he like go like I would say that they're flip-flopped in the scene. The one who's really emotional is Winston, which is funny in the situation. It was
I can at least get behind his acting because he more so understands the levity of the situation.
No, I like it. I just think it's funny that they're kind of like flip-flopped as to which one would be more emotional.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the actor for Winston kind of was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to up it in this scene a little bit. There needs to be more.
Dude, the actor for Winston, his real name is Haskell V. Anderson III. That's like what a
He's
cool
got some of the coolest
name.
lines in this movie too. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
I think the moral of the story with this situation is if you're American, do not go to third world countries. Don't be stupid.
Don't go randomly fight in Thailand, dude.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, and it was filmed in Thailand for the most part, and I can't wait to hear some of the stories about that. I'm looking forward to that interview. What's up, Cannoli?
Hey, Big C.
So cheap.
Well, not only that, I mean, there's parts of Bangkok you just can't go to. It's just like a guaranteed mugging.
No, well, I mean, dude, if you're Jean-Claude Van Damme, who gives a shit? Like, you can just defend yourself from the muggers at that point. Like, yeah. Imagine like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Alexio both going to some random ass hardcore place of Thailand. People try and mug them. They're like, nah, dude, you're done.
So there's one thing he does that we didn't see when Winston picks him up, and he goes, I love his lines there because Jean-Claude, or I guess we can call him Kurt, is like trying to get somebody to drive them to the hospital, and he stops a random cab driver and he's trying to yell at him like, I need to go to a hospital, like a hospital, like, and he just can't, he doesn't know the word. And Winston comes up, shoves his car out of the way, and goes, he was probably going to take you to a whorehouse. I'll take you to a good hospital.
Yeah, and plus he tells the two girls that were in his car, they're like, yeah, get out of here. We're gonna have fun later.
And you never see them again. That's the best part. He's just gone.
Now, of course, he's doing a bit of introspection, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's visiting a ton of Buddhas, a ton of them. I think they're in every single shot of this weird montage that they do. And yeah, he also goes to a school for Muay Thai, and he says that he wants to learn how to beat Tong Po, and everyone just laughs at him. It's like, yep, you're not gonna do that, and just goes to show you the amount of reach that Tong Po has with Freddy Li, of course, that we get to explore later on with how the chokehold that he has on the entire province at that point. And Winston reassures him that he can he can have someone teach him Muay Thai if he's really serious about it. And how do you pronounce his name? Is it Jean or Xian? Zhang? I don't know how they pronounce it. Dude. John? I mean, the actor's real name is Dennis Chan, dude. Like,
apparently, I heard that he was actually really young, and then they actually had to do facial stuff to make him look.
Yeah,
old.
he's in a lot of stuff after this, so I have a feeling he was aged up.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, okay, I didn't know it.
Well, of course, Winston takes him to a titty bar because, ladies and gentlemen, it's Thailand, of course. So at that point, this is where we sort of learn about Tong Po and Freddy Li's influence. We also learned that Winston had an older brother in Nam who died because, he froze. So he could have saved him, but he froze. So he continuously blames himself for that, which, I mean, yeah, it comes into play later. And it's one of his big reasons for helping Eric and Kurt. It's like, yeah, I saw a brother in need, and that was it. And
I just want to know how many actual women were in that the strippers, because I know that there's an extended version of this scene out there, and I just want to know, were they vetted? That's all I have to.
Dude, this was probably just shot after hours, man. It's just a camera. They're like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. So they go to Jeanland in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. It looks nice and cozy actually, and we meet our sensei. So let me play the clip.
May I help you?
Yes. Let me done.
No, I cannot.
Why?
Don't know who you are, what you want.
I want you to teach me Muay Thai.
Really? But you are American.
Wait. Wait. Yo. Hey, wait.
It just clicked to me that he keeps calling him American. It just clicked that he's calling the Belgian guy American over and over again.
Yeah.
Dude, he's American. Listen, you speak English, you're American, dude. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's no other country to come from. And
I do like this character a lot. It's got a lot of Mr. Miyagi to it, but even more sarcastic somehow. Like,
absolutely, but like it's like if Mr. Miyagi and Master Roshi from Dragon Ball fused together.
I can see Master Roshi in him. Yeah, dude, I can really see now that you mention it.
So
100%.
that's sometimes one of the complaints you'll hear about this movie is that it does take a lot of story bits from other more popular or more well-known things like Karate Kid. It's starting to thunder. If you guys lose me, I'm sorry, but there is a little bit of Karate Kid to this. There is a little bit of Rocky 4 to this. There, which I don't think is necessarily bad. Borrowing from good stuff is not a problem. And I think it's well done, but that is one of the complaints you will often hear about Kickboxers, that it's a bit derivative of other things.
Dude, then those people
take it how you will. If you're okay with that, or if you're not okay with that,
those people should just say the same thing about Tarantino. Like, dude,
yeah,
at that point, everything is a rehash of everything else now.
Yeah, I forget who the quote is actually connected to, but that there's no original stories. You're just changing the same stories over and over again. So I think that borrowing a couple of story elements from popular films from the 80s is not a big deal.
You got to flip it on its head, like what you're listing is stuff that's more so I don't know, like more toned down. Kickboxer is like this unapologetically over the top film that does take from these other films, but it does, in a sense, like to me personally, kind of make it its own.
Oh yeah.
I just like to be fair, and like these are some of the criticisms you might hear. Like I said, I personally don't have those same criticisms, but that is so, like if you were to go through the Rotten Tomatoes back when it still mattered and like read the things, that's what people might say. You have the girlfriend, and it's similar to Karate Kid, and obviously a more adult version, but.
Yeah. So speaking of the girlfriend, we are introduced to Miley because Dennis Chan. I'll use his real name, dude. Jan Dennis. I'll just say Dennis. Dennis. Dude, because so this one he sends him to go get some groceries from Miley's store, and Miley is his is it his actual niece or adoptive niece? Because
I believe it is his actual niece.
Actual one. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Because she does say that she was an orphan, so he took her in, and yeah. So Jean-Claude Van Damme, he isn't happy with how things are going. With Freddy Li's chokehold on the province, and how he has his thugs just collect money each month. It's just paying for safety, I guess, or paying to survive at that point. And yeah, what do you guys think of Miley's character in the movie? Do you guys think that she's good, bad? Maybe
I think she's absolutely like a dime. I think she's really cute. I think so. Like, that's just me though.
I think she's cute. I think, like in this film, I think there's too many little side stories that get added, trying to bring in more intensity. I think he could have just focused on his brother, and the revenge bit, and that could have worked a lot better than adding, the store, her being, in that situation, Tong Po later on. And then the uncle and all that. I think it just brings too much to the film, to be honest. I think if you would have focused on him, because like the whole point was him training is to be getting revenge for his brother, so it kind of takes that away a bit for me. So that's just my general thought. She's a cute little actress. I like her. It's just I thought it just
One important thing for her, in my opinion, is that she doesn't have too thick of an accent. And that's actually a really good thing in this movie. There's despite a lot of the actors being of descent, they did a good job of ironically enough, the main character is the hardest one to understand in Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's like everybody else is fine for the most part.
I just think that there isn't enough of a drama here to push all of these things forward. Like Gucci's completely right. They definitely do go over the top, especially towards the end of the film where like what, it comes out that Tong Po did what he did to her. I felt like that definitely while it does add like this extra layer, I think it is a bit too much.
So there was a lot that was cut from the film. And I think what is left is kind of the remnants of a lot of those subplots, which unfortunately aren't fully realized, which happens in a lot, especially when they were trying to make films shorter so they could have more show. Now they're like, if this was made today, they would have been like, yeah, actually, can you film more? And we'll just
2.5 hours long.
Let's just make it 3 hours. But they were clearly trying to, apparently the actress was American, according to Melvin Deeply. Okay, well, she did a good job of convincing me she wasn't American.
She's Hawaiian, I think. So.
But, I mean, especially in the 80s, they were trying to trim them down 90 minutes as best you can. Get it out so that way we could show it,
such a better time
15 times in one day.
It was
absolutely. I think that the biggest thing with films that makes me be nice to them, even if I'm not particularly crazy about them, is if their runtime is reasonable. The one thing that makes me say go fuck yourself as a film is if you're like 2.5 hours and you have no reason to be.
You should be able to efficiently tell a story in an hour and a half, and an hour 45 should be enough to tell them pretty much unless it's Lord of the Rings,
Yeah. See, for this movie, I thought it would have been a better fit because the title is Kickboxer. And it would have been a better fit if you would have been that lone American, just fixated on getting revenge, kind of like the Last Ronin on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, kind of that vibe. But just like he's on a mission. There's like let's just focus on his path and what he's trying to accomplish instead of adding more, struggles along the way. It just kind of takes away the intensity of what he's trying to do. And so, because like even with her situation, it just kind of gets dismissed. That should be, if that happens, that should be like a good half hour of, acting and going through the struggles and all that. So, I don't know. I just thought it was just added a little too much.
I totally agree with you, Gooch. This is actually my biggest complaint is the Miley and Kurt relationship, because I think it feels really, really forced. This time he saves her. The next time they see each other, they literally just trauma dump on each other, and they're like, "All right, cool." And then the third time, he finishes training. She's randomly in the woods. They kiss like Blue Lagoon in the rain and shit. It's like, all right, cool. That's the relationship done. We've seen them together.
Hey, but that scene was very
times.
well. That scene was very well filmed, though. I will say.
Oh yeah, I 100%.
Scene. That's probably the best looking sequence in the whole movie.
Yeah, but it's like when you add everything in the end.
I'm just being fair with
it. It's when you add everything to the end. It's especially the final fight where the entire time, even what makes him kick down the palm tree, it's like, yeah, remember what he did to your brother. And at the end of the fight, you just have like one shot of his brother cheering him on, and then he does everything for Miley. And I was like, all right, like I'm still happy he won, but yeah, all right, cool, That's my biggest issue with the movie. But I do have a clip of Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking some ass, so let's do it. Nice.
Saving things American style. Make sure it's so destroyed that no one would want it anyway.
Dude, yeah,
basically what he does.
Fuck yeah, of course, dude. Breaks everything down. Listen, you can rebuild. That's the American motto, man. We will rebuild, isn't it?
What's up,
hey, James.
Build back better. Build store back better.
Yeah. So at this point, of course, Winston comes back and not Tong Po, Xian Chow accepts to train Jean-Claude Van Damme because he's there for the revenge. And of course, we do get some more insight on his motivations to train Kurt just in a couple of scenes, I think. Now, the training begins, and the training is going to be the next 90% of the movie, basically, which is quite interesting because you don't really see training be such a large part of the film. You know, a lot of movies make fun of that. It's just a montage or something like that near the end.
Gotta have a montage.
See, we just reviewed Demon Slayer episode 3, where it's basically Tanjiro, doing the 2 years of training, like 6 months and then another 6 months, and then going through these struggles and then finally getting to the point where he's able to go to accomplish his goal of becoming a demon slayer. So I enjoyed that episode. Now, is it the best episode? No, but it's a good episode because it gives you the groundwork. This is where we're going. Like, he went through 2 years of hell to get to where he's at, instead of just being that Mary Sue or that character just is great out of nowhere. I see, I don't mind this, even though it's compacted and done in like such a short time frame, but it gives you the depth of what he has to go through to beat a character like Dong Zhuo, which I respect. So
and you actually see him improving over time. Like, that's the most important thing. You see him at first, he's having a hard time doing all the things that he's given in his training. Then it starts to come together. It starts to click. He's getting prepared. And first off, fuck Master Jean for putting Jean-Claude Van Damme in rags. Okay, we could have had this whole fighting segment of Jean-Claude Van Damme in short shorts, but no, he had to put rags on him. How dare you?
Yeah, there's not enough ass shots in the end fight for you, Cass?
Could have some more.
Dude, I even had to cut those because I didn't know if they would like pass a YouTube censorship or shit. I was like, man,
I'm over here being like, yeah, the movie's 90 minutes, and she's like, what are you talking about? The final fight is like 2 hours long. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, just mark it as educational because Jean-Claude Van Damme's ass is very educational.
Dude, the clench ability that he probably has there is crazy, man. Like, for real.
He can carry a lot of weight there. Holy shit.
But to piggyback on the montage thing, that was very much, I mean, it's become, like we said, it's become kind of a joke, but that was the thing from like 80 until like 92. Like, every movie had to have one if it was
70s, dude. Rocky, ever since Rocky.
Well, yeah, but they got like the ones from the first 2 Rocky movies weren't nearly what they were for like Rocky 3 and 4.
Oh yeah,
like they were. Like, the 80s was really peak
Siberia
training montage time. Like,
let's take that and make it even bigger and broader. Yeah. Run up mountains and spread your legs, but to the point where,
I mean, they could have did that here too. He could have ran up a mountain and be like, Tong Po!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so it's weird because I feel like training montages are sort of dead now. You barely see them in general, like, movies. I mean, you barely see fighting movies nowadays anyways,
because they're too fast for modern movies. Like I was saying, that would actually shorten the runtime. We can't be having that. Gotta have the longest runtime possible.
Well, I think that's why, like, movie like Star Wars, you saw Luke Skywalker go through 3 films of training to develop to become a Jedi, and even then he wasn't even capable of being a true Jedi until the 3rd film. Like, I think they're needed more. Like I said, Demon Slayer was a good example. Just to lay that groundwork of, this is the character, this is what they've gone through, and I don't know. That's just my thought on it. Because like you watch movies now, they're all of a sudden they're just perfect out of nowhere, and you're like,
so they do the training, but they ace the training, so it's just like, all right, cool. Yeah.
The training, like, walk over to that and just, you're done. Your training is done. You've learned all you possibly can from me.
Pretty. That's actually how it is today.
Which in older movies, it was always that there was more to learn. Even in this one, you almost get the sense that he wasn't fully complete until it was like from within, and he didn't learn everything possible he could from Jean. He had to learn it
From Dennis
from
Chan. All right,
Dennis
from
Chan.
Dennis
He had to
Chan,
learn it from like the
exactly.
warriors of the past kind of thing, you know.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
the echoes of his ancestors. You know, they were all just there training him. So this is the scene that I was talking about, where we kind of learn more about why Jean decided to train Kurt for, you know, even if the motive was revenge, it was because he wants to protect her from Freddy Li. And through Kurt, he thinks that there will be minimal repercussions, basically, because he's an American. So he's kind of removed from what they're experiencing as and so yeah, we get the dinner scene, a pretty short dinner scene. Is just to set up the fact that, you know, Kurt finds her cute. That's literally the only reason why they have this dinner scene.
Agreed, Kurt, agreed.
I mean, you know, if
good,
he
though.
didn't, you know, we're gonna assume that he's gay.
That's true. That's true. Dude, look at
He almost made me spit out my drink. Damn, Cass.
I wish that you were showing that when that happened. He's like,
oh, I was taking a drink. I had to cough it back up. Oh, my God,
dude.
so good.
Oh man, and yeah, this is the trauma dump scene I was talking about. It's like, yeah, Kurt was raised in Europe while Eric was raised in the U.S. Miley is an orphan who was you know, taken in by her uncle. It's really just forced sappy romance. That's the word. It's like, it's so sappy as well. It's like,
it is.
Man,
it is a little weird too, because it's like the setup is I was born in Europe and then I stayed there, and my father took my brother to America. But they still are playing up the him being American thing. But it's like they don't specifically say how long he's been living there. But I'm under the impression it wasn't for very long.
You know, he said that he lived with his mom. That was pretty much it. It's kind of implied that the mom is like, I don't know, maybe died.
Yeah, they say that they both died.
Yeah,
yeah, that was it. So,
but they would be happy that they didn't get along, but they'd be happy that the brothers do.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and yeah, kind of like, oh yeah, we're kissing. That's pretty much it. We've set up the romance in what, a minute and a half, pretty much. It's like, all right, cool. We love seeing sexy people be in love with each other on screen, I guess. Now, of course,
not anymore. Nowadays, you can't have good-looking people doing good stuff on screen. They got to be.
Yeah.
One of them has to be ugly as sin. It's
one of them has to be ugly. The other one has to be Sydney Sweeney. That's pretty much the balance that we get.
Which is like, hey, I've heard Sydney. They're looking for that person opposite Sydney Sweeney. I fit the mold.
Yeah, right here.
They broke the mold when they made me, baby.
So now we're in the Stone City training area, which
it's a good shot, by the way. That's a really nice shot.
It's nice and video gamey, man. You know, it's like training here. I can
honestly, that looks like a screensaver, like the way you have it like centered really well, and there's the eagle there, and like.
Yeah, the eagle is reacting to all the kicks as well too. I like the shots of just the eagle with his mouth open. It's like, oh my God, Van Damme is in front of me.
All I can think when I look at this screenshot, though, is that line from History of the World Part 1. Everything's so green. It's just like such a green like scene.
The eagle being involved kind of reminds me of like the cat in Way of the Dragon before Bruce fights. Yeah.
I don't know. This reminds me of King of the Fighters, man. I don't know if you guys know the game.
King of Fighters.
Basically, no one plays King of the Fighters, dude. Everyone just plays Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. I'm the
King
only
of the
one
Fighters is
I
up to
know
like
plays
number
it.
72 or something like that at this point. They like release a new one every year.
Listen, the best King of the Fighters game is 97. Okay, so if you can get an emulated version of King of the Fighters 97, I have every single one of them, but 97 is the one I play religiously.
SNK has had a really hard time transitioning to modern gaming, sadly.
Yeah, they also just never were as popular as Capcom over here in the United States. SNK just never took off like Capcom did.
Their boy Terry Bogard is going to be in this current Street Fighter, which is a big deal.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Terry is pretty good, man. But yeah, I think it's one of those instances where popularity, even it's something I don't understand. This may be a weird tangent, but like, it's something I don't understand, because I do think that their characters from King of the Fighters are kind of better than the characters from Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I think they're more enduring. Plus, there is the King of the Fighters anime as well. If anyone hasn't seen that, it's pretty good. I do recommend it. It's like 12 episodes.
Wasn't there a movie too?
Maybe. I'm not too sure, but probably. Now, of course, more training. Do you have it clipped over here? Yeah, more training. This looks difficult as hell. In terms of balance and everything, it's just a nice showcase of JCVD skills, real life skills. Dark Hour, have you ever trained like this? Or Gooch, have you ever trained like this?
I have notoriously terrible. I guess whatever this is, whatever he's doing right now. It's not wingspan. Crotch span. I don't know what this would be. And really
Spreading
tight.
eagle?
Yes, and really tight Achilles heel like tendons. So I could never do high kicks. But I have kicked I have medium and low kicked the shit out of a lot of bags in my time.
Yeah, me too. I do know a couple strippers that trained like that, but I do not. The kicking of the bamboo, we did do that, but there was some light padding on it because the fib is kind of a
you could
smaller
snap that
bone.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the bamboo tree. I think it's a banana tree because that's.
I think it's a palm tree, man.
Historically, Muay Thai guys would kick banana trees, which look very similar to palm trees and very similar to bamboo when they're growing.
Yeah,
but they're not as hard. They're much softer. It's almost like it has a similar the trunk has a similar consistency to like leather.
I am doing that right now, as you know, my name is Gooch, so I am training like that right now, just in case
Listen,
I
man,
do get that call. So
Xian has given us some ideas for a sex dungeon. Listen, plus this is very DIY. You can just chill,
This changes the movie so much if you think about it. Like so they're in Thailand. He's like, "Look, I have some training for you, and it's going to be really important for our next step in our upcoming business." He doesn't tell him that Jean-Claude Van Damme is going to be the next lady boy.
That's actually a good title for a movie, man. The next lady boy.
The next lady boy.
Well, Cass did say he had a nice ass, so
absolutely.
Like we slap some bolt-ons on that. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, get out there. You're our number one seller. Get out there.
So at this point, we kind of do get a little update on Eric. He's suffering in that Thai hospital, man, but he's still recovering. So yeah, and JCVD is back to training. Hell yeah, doing this shit underwater, which you really do see this in a ton of movies and TV shows. The underwater training stuff.
The water
is it
resistance
actually a thing?
Yeah,
it is.
A lot of like BJ Penn did that with the rocks underneath because in Hawaii.
Usually you're not submerged fully like this.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to maintain the density to stay under, but a lot of times they're like up to, relatively chest high.
Yeah.
Well, Evander Holyfield and Kevin Mitchell, I don't know if you know Kevin Mitchell, he was with the San Francisco Giants.
Yep.
He would swing the bat underneath the water so to speed up the bat speed, and like Evander Holyfield would do like punching drills just for cardiovascular and for the resistance, right?
Yeah.
So it was done in the 80s, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
It's just incredibly difficult to get your body completely like this underwater.
So hard.
Yeah,
it's so hard to drown. It's kind of wild, when you think about it.
Yeah, you need to have some serious inability to swim to drown. Like,
thank
your
you,
body
Melvin,
just floats.
Good old Muhammad Ali did that in the 60s as well. Yeah,
yes,
he did more of the sprinting, like the leg work in the water.
One of the cheapest ways to train, man. Just jump in some water.
Yeah, dude, just go in a pool, random municipal pool, and that's pretty much it. So of course, this is where he's trying to hit the banana / palm tree / unknown tree that we're trying to decipher, and he's failing, but he's gonna get there. And of course, we get a little look back at Tong Po and Freddy Li that are continuously winning their matches and their I guess they're fake bets. Wait, how do you say it? They're rigged? Rigged is
well, yeah. I don't think that they're actually rigged up to this point because Tong Po is that good. Because I don't think these guys are signing up to be the shit kicked out of them. I think it's literally that Tong Po is better. One thing I'm just actually noticing now about the ropes, the fact that the colors are inconsistent is kind of interesting. It kind of plays off the fact that Thailand doesn't have a lot of money. And also, one thing I love is that you can hear the chains when they bounce off of them, which cheaper ropes will usually be chains with, in this case, I guess it's just leather around them or something, because actual ones with springs are significantly more expensive.
The other thing, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the other thing I really like is they use the traditional Muay Thai music, like with the beats, like it's very traditional. Yeah. I really like that. I forgot that they had this in this movie, to be honest, until I watched it this morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, they kept it as traditional as they could.
Yeah, the writer definitely did a really good job in terms of showing the cultural aspects of Muay Thai, which is really awesome, because it really is like a way of life over there. It's their national sport. Like,
yeah. Well, you have a ton of people, especially recently. You have a ton of young guys that just moved to Thailand to actually just learn martial arts in general, to have that way of life. You have a ton of young people also as well that go to a lot of Asian countries just to become monks and stuff, because they want to embrace that way of life. Which, man, you ask all of them, a lot of them say they're inspired by movies. Which, who the fuck doesn't want to go to to Thailand to learn Muay Thai at the age of like 18, dude? Everyone would probably want to do that.
Well, it's cheap. It's very spiritual. There's a lot of people go there
Melvin
to become
sent me
awakened.
this picture, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice. Muhammad Ali.
Good job, Melvin.
The GOAT. Exactly.
Oh, he was
one of the greatest.
Oh man.
Yeah, of course. We finally get to the tree kicking stuff. Well, just before the tree kicking stuff, we've got another montage, ladies and gentlemen.
Montage.
So, Dark Hour, do you think that you could do this?
Which part? That? No, I can't. No, the jumping kicks. No, that's not my thing. My thing is get somebody on the ground, hold them in a position for a long time, and beat them up. That's my thing.
Maybe 15 years ago I could have done that.
Gooch, you're still a young man. You can do this shit today. Just need some training.
No, I'm more like the Thing. It's clobbering time. Just like let me get in there. Just like,
I just gravitated towards grappling. That was just my thing. Like I boxed for a while. I did Muay Thai for a while. I never actually had an organized fight. I had a shit ton of sparring sessions, but it was just a couple concussions. Yeah, that was once I had like 2 or 3 concussions, I was like, nah, this is not worth it.
I've had I don't know how many I've had, because the last time I saw a neurologist, he was just looking at me like, how do you function? And I was like, what? All these markings on your brain, dude, this is not good. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's
like, how are you alive? It's like, oh,
yeah, basically.
The CTE is real with this one.
It is. I went through a lot, to be honest. But that being said, I loved boxing and kickboxing. I loved it. There's nothing like when you're in a ring and you're seeing someone across the other side looking at you, and you just by the look, either you're going to win or you're in for a fight just by looking at your opponent. There's the intensity, like everything. Like, I don't know if you've seen that Costner film where he's the baseball player and like he kind of everything just blacks out and he's focused. He's got that tunnel vision. There's no noise. Like, it's just kind of a blurry noise. That's like being in the ring. Even as a ref, like you're just focused. Like it's just, and there's nothing like it.
I could attest to that. Whenever I competed in jiu-jitsu, I was like that too, where it's you it's kind of everything, and if it doesn't, you're gonna lose. It's right in that moment. If you can't focus on your opponent, and I remember that happened to me at probably the worst time ever. I was competing in the Pan Ams, and I didn't hear my name get announced for my match, and they were like looking for me. I was like, I've been standing here the whole time. How did you and they get me. They're like, well, you're about to get disqualified. So I literally jumped the fence and just jumped on the mats. They started the match. I had no time to warm up or anything. I lost in about 30 seconds because I was never able to focus or anything. It was one of the worst. It was one of the worst experiences. That was a big tournament, and I ended up having that happen.
The movie I was thinking is For Love of the Game. That's that baseball movie. And then the Jim Kelly movie I was thinking of was Black Belt Jones.
Oh,
I love that movie. But
Whatever comes up, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
we're gonna because of the format we do for March, we're gonna pump through martial arts movies a lot faster than everything else. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the entire month of March is dedicated to martial arts flicks, so that's always a good thing. Now, of course, JCVD finally manages to fuck up that palm/banana tree, and yeah, he almost fucks up his leg in the process, which
my
I
shit is
think
hurting.
it's dude, yeah, it must be crazy. And plus, it's also a testament to why Miley is kind of needed in the story. Plus, it also gives you a time frame as to, because something like this will take a while to recover before you're able to hit properly again. So subconsciously on the viewer, it gives you this time frame, which I really do appreciate, because he's been training for a while, and just adds to the how do I say this? It adds to the end of the movie where you're like, yep, I've seen this dude train. I know that he can do it. His coach believes in him.
You know that it's not just happening over the course of a week. It's there's an extended period of time. So obviously they do that with several things. So Eric, they say right off the bat, 3 months he's going to be in this hospital before he can even leave. So that at minimum there's 3 months. Then he gets out of the hospital, so we know it's longer than that. It could be 4, 5, 6 months. And he has a fight in between there. That's another adding of time in there. So they do a really good job of framing the time scaling throughout the movie, whereas a lot of times a lot of films won't do that. Karate Kid did something similar, because they had the date set for the tournament, and they project out like, oh, at the tournament that's when it's going to happen. How far in advance it is. So it's a lost art of framing time within a narrative.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, man. And getting coconuts launched onto you is I think we can survive that, dude.
It'll probably just break a rib or two.
It's funny watching traditional Muay Thai or martial artists box, because the elbows point out to they're not tight against their body. Boxers are nice and tight. They have their elbows in, protecting their rib cage. So when you watch Logan Paul fight martial artists, you're like, okay, right away, or Jake Paul, I should say, right away you could tell the difference in styles and everything.
Yeah, dude, Jake Paul fighting old men, a tradition at this point.
Old men who are significantly lighter than him, like always. It's always like a former UFC welterweight, and Jake Paul's like 235. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, it's perfect, because you're taking an MMA fighter, they're going to come at you square, because they're so used to wanting to stop the takedowns, right? Yeah. So whereas boxing, you're angled off, and you got a Philly shell, or you got a
that
style
was
that you can use.
That was one thing I wanted to mention. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up. Go on. You keep going. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, it's just two different styles. So for me as a boxer, it's just like, okay, thank you. I'm gonna hit you all night long, and you're not gonna like it.
They especially show it in his fight that he has, which I believe is coming up. Or no, he does it. It's after the dancing scene. But Muay Thai has this tendency, especially true from Thailand guys, where it's more like a just meet in the middle and just hit whoever hits hardest and most. And there's not as much defensive positioning in Muay Thai as there is in a lot of other arts, which is one of the reasons why the standing grappling has evolved into it as well, because you're trying to keep the person stationary.
So of course Eric manages to finally get out of the hospital, and it's a good time, man. Everyone's nice and jolly. So Jean decides, hey man, why not go and get us a way into the match with Tong Po? So they go to Freddy Li's bar, or I guess the bar where Freddy Li hangs out, and they start drinking the Kiss of Death, which activates Jean-Claude Van Damme's dancing skills, which are,
oh my god,
let's just say, magnificent. Oh my god, dude, look at this, man. Oh yeah, oh man, this is when he starts moving his hips around, dude. Man, back when the white stuff was pure, man. This was straight up the nose. That's how it made you dance in the club back then. Oh god.
I
And-
have this like weird obsession with the shirt he wears in this scene because it's like some weird suspenders tank
Yeah.
top that I have never seen before.
Be at the
in my
Blue
life.
Oyster Bar instead of
Yeah.
this one.
I've
Back
always
when
been like,
real
where did they
fashion.
find that thing?
It's almost like a
Man.
stripper shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Well, I mean, look at these dance moves, man. This is better than the stripper. You know, when he goes down, does the splits and everything, it's like, oh, yep, all right, all
This
right.
was probably the funnest scene to film. I would only assume that this was like the most fun.
I like when he just wiggles his shoulders when he gets up from the splits, dude.
The best,
Like-
by far the best acting in this scene is the people in the background who are not actively losing their shit as he's doing this stuff, because I would not be able to keep a straight face.
Dude, yeah, they're getting paid for this, man. They can't laugh. But look, what's
He doesn't hit anything.
Does.
man.
That's not
Yeah,
even
well-
his drink, by the way. That's somebody else's table.
he just clears everything
Why
off.
not?
dude.
It's like his legs go backwards and like hit the opponent. It's like,
But yeah, I would love to see the tank top budget for this film, because not only did he wear one in almost every scene, so did Dennis Alessio.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
yeah.
true. Well, it's weird because I do think that JCVD was kind of slimmer here. Well, he was less chunkier here than he was in Bloodsport, and Bloodsport came out the year prior, so it was filmed, let's say, 2 years ago, technically at this point.
Well, he also had a Cyborg in the middle of that, so he was doing a lot of physical activity for 2 straight years
Mhm.
and getting.
But I
into
do
better
think that
shape.
he was bulkier in Bloodsport than he is here. Actually, you know, I think he's much more lean in Kickboxer than he is Bloodsport. Now, of course, Jean, his master plan all along was to beat up Freddy Li's people so that they could secure himself another match for so they could secure a match for Kurt, because they only secured the match for Eric the first time. And so now Kurt is out here fighting just a random dude, you know, to try and prove himself. It's like, that poor motherfucker, man.
Put him up against one of your best fighters. It's like I would have loved there to have been like a line there where he said something like, "I'll put him up against one of my worst fighters" or something like that. You know,
Nah,
thinking,
it's like-
really like thinking not that great of him.
Like, here's John from the back alley, dude. Enter the ring, done.
Here's our best tomato can.
To be honest, looking at Bloodsport, Bolo, I forget what his actual name is, but he's a really fucking big dude. So I'd imagine they wanted him to be a little bulkier, to try and match that. Whereas Tong Po, he's very lean. So if Jean-Claude was too bulky, it would definitely make Tong Po look kind of weak.
That is a fair point. Yeah, that is a fair point. That could probably be an issue, since you needed Tong Po to be the bigger dude in this situation to sell the plot of the movie. Yeah, I think
Also, Kurt is not supposed to be an active fighter. He's supposed to be
True.
like, essentially
That's
a trainer.
That was Chung Li that was Bolo, and he's the one that they have conversations about with Bruce Lee, that they actually fought, and Bruce Lee knocked him out like easily in the first fight, and then he went and trained a little bit more and came back and pulled Bruce Lee out of a bar, and there was another altercation in the back alley. Apparently, these are all the stories, right? You hear about that, but yeah, but him and Bruce Lee had a really good relationship after that, apparently, because a lot of people didn't question the speed of Bruce Lee's kicks and punches. So
yeah. Bruce Lee had to deal with a lot of challenges. People just
yes.
randomly walking up to him on the street. That's why he was like, "Yeah, I make sure that I know how to fight in anything I'm wearing, because you just never know who's going to approach you."
Yeah,
dude, Bruce Lee was literally like any random like villain from Dragon Ball, and everyone else was Goku. It was like, yeah, dude, you're strong. Let's fight. All right, fuck it. Let's go today.
No, he was honestly, his life was basically a side scroller beat 'em up from like the 90s, where like he'd walk down the street and like a person be leaning against like a wall, and just all of a sudden be like, "Oh, it's time to fight."
It's like you. No, yeah, look at you can kind of see JCVD here in all of his nice lean glory with those huge ass biceps, dude. Holy shit, man. Dude. Hopefully this is what I look like in the next 5 years. all the will and
Hell yeah.
Well, are you working out? That's kind of important.
Yeah.
listen, man.
Are you taking horse steroids? That is a big
Yes.
factor.
It's
Yes.
interesting because like he's kind of at an achievable physique. You know, that's what I like. It's like it looks achievable. It doesn't look like any of the Marvel actors today, which are 100% getting injections in their ass for sure.
A lot of it, honestly, is genetics. Like, not to take away from the
True.
hard work or anything, but
True.
I wonder what his parents look like. To be honest with you, or his family lineage is like.
Yep, I agree. Now, of course, he wants Tong Po, ladies and gentlemen. He wants that motherfucker, and we do get this nice little flashback to Eric, who sees this in the paper, and he kind of crumples up the paper where it's like, "Hey, man, does he not want him to fight Tong Po because he fears for his brother's safety, or is it also a hint of ego at that point because he can't do it again?" I think it's a bit of both. And sadly, for the since they kind of shoehorned in the Miley stuff, we don't get to explore it fully. Which, man, I wish we kind of put the Miley stuff to the side.
I don't know, bro. Eric's acting's kind of bad. So
I want to know who that guy to his left is, though. That's like the most. It's like just some other random white guy that they found. Here you go. Here.
When Tong Po was fighting that other dude, back some scenes ago, the guy that he was fighting was actually the guy from Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, who was the brother. Oh, I forget. The brother of the dude Bruce was fighting to have access to teach whoever he wanted.
Huh. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool info. Nice. And he was just a random extra. It's like, all right, cool.
Dude, he was jacked, that guy.
Now, of course, Eric decides to visit at the the Jean Palace, and man, they're having a good time and chilling. But we need more training, of course. So more training montages. Some pretty nice cinematography, man. I took this slide because, hey, man, if you do take the time to make your what was what?
Hmm?
That's why his butt is so big. He's taking horse steroid shots in the butt.
Absolutely.
After we're done, definitely save this, because one thing that I will say that about this movie, and it makes a lot of sense because David Worth comes from a director of photography, cinematography standpoint, is that there's a lot of great shots. Like there's another one. There's another one I mentioned that's very well filmed. This scene was probably incredibly hard to get a good angle with all the darkness and the shadows and the trees and everything.
The foliage,
yeah, and like that's like, whereas some of the things that we've mentioned are kind of script oriented things where it falls a little short. I would say that the cinematography in this movie is significantly better than Bloodsport, for instance, which had a lot of choppiness to it, which he worked on that as well. But I think he really like hammered it in with this. Like he had it down, and I think that's a testament to this, because there was probably a lot of hard scenes to film in this.
Yeah,
and look at those biceps, man, crazy. Forced kind of weird forced scene. Dude just comes back from training. He randomly stumbles upon her in the forest. We don't know. Maybe they do it on the forest floor. I don't know, man. It's up to you to interpret that. But it does start raining, so I guess symbolism.
Oh no.
So yeah. More training, kicking some stuff. Man, Jean-Claude Van Damme can do the fucking splits, dude. This is insane. Genuinely, this is fascinating. He needs to be studied like in a laboratory at this point.
Well, he has a more of a taekwondo style, where like I did my taekwondo when I was in my early teens under Master Li, but like the black belts, and like they would do those kind of kicks all the time.
And even his kickboxing style was like savate. So it was like the French Belgian style, so which is usually has a lot more higher kicks. Very like
yeah, but he kind of exaggerated it with the ballet and with the taekwondo style.
His style is so good for film. I don't know necessarily how it is for like real life purposes. It's totally different, but when it comes to film, it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it's not like Steven Seagal's bullshito, man. That's some That's some pretty interesting stuff, man. It's just random.
When I'm
Love
feeling
it.
like when I really want to get angry, I watch Steven Seagal walk his fucking ass, his giant moo wearing ass to the middle of an Aikido school and throw willing participants over his shoulder. It's fucking hilarious every time.
I met him. He's quite the character.
Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
horror stories about his ego and stuff.
Dude, I've
Yeah,
heard
he's-
that
His
like,
lies are astronomical. He lied about
Oh,
him and
yeah.
his son meeting Bruce and Brandon Lee when Brandon
Yeah.
was a kid.
mhm.
Fucking insane, dude.
Apparently there was a party where JCVD and him met, and JCVD was kind of fed up with the fact that Seagal kept saying that he could take him on, so he was just like, yeah, fuck it, let's go outside, dude. And Seagal just ran away. It's like, yep, all right.
This is an especially funny point here when you realize that Adam Gray has he has some mobility issues. So him being like I could take him means saying a lot about the
Oh, dude, yeah, I think anyone could take on Seagal at this point. Just like,
Seagal is gonna go down from like a heart attack soon. That guy is enormous now. He's gotta be like 360.
Damn.
that's
He's
true. That's true.
huge. I don't even understand it.
Let him fight, damn it. Let him fight.
Yeah,
He's big and he's orange. I don't know. The spray tan that he gets is
He's got cirrhosis of the liver. He's just
He's a
like
chunky boy, man. So at this point in the movie, it's the scene where Eric doesn't want Kurt to fight Tong Po. Of course, he's saying this. I think this is one of the scenes where Eric is clearly ADR'd.
yes, you could see it really bad. in
Yeah,
the
you can
scene.
really tell that this is ADR, man. To the point where I was like, huh? I actually rewinded it a couple of times to see, but yeah, of course he doesn't want to fight him. But the messenger arrives, and he brings the invitation to fight the ancient way, which means your hands will be covered in resin and dipped in glass. Interesting stuff, man. Now, of course, they accept the invitation, and one thing I do love is the fact that right after master and student, they don't say anything. They just look at each other and they're like, "Yep, that's we know what we have to do." It just shows you the ultimate trust that they have between each other. It's like, I trust that you're going to win, and I trust your teachings. And it's like, yep, that we need to go off and we need to train on our own. And this is where he
Beautiful
starts
shot.
hearing the it's fantastic, especially with the sticks on
Torch.
fire as well.
Like they're like heated. They're similar to the ones he was using earlier. They're just heated up now.
Yep.
Well, I just appreciate the vibrant colors that like are popping out to show you the beauty of Thailand. Like he really does a really good job of filming those shots, like Dark Hour said.
Yeah, I would say that like there's a skill to knowing the exact time to film a skyline like this, and they do it they do it multiple times in this movie. So
especially considering it's like 15 minutes before you lose your light at that.
Yeah, like you have a very small window if you want it to look a specific way. So it's
And,
I can't wait to see this hit 4K Blu-ray with HDR and everything. If it's done right, it's gonna look so sexy.
Do you think that they'd ever do it in 4K? This movie specifically, Kickboxer? I don't know.
Made it this far to Blu-ray, man. Here's to hoping.
Yeah, I hope so too, but I doubt, man.
It seems
'Cause
like
a lot
there's a
of,
lot that, like they only really do it for like the
Big
most successful like Aliens and stuff. And this is whereas it's very successful in terms of its budget, it's still not the most well-known JCVD film. So
Yeah,
until you see them do it with Bloodsport, I wouldn't hold your breath for Kickboxer to have it happen.
Now, of course, Freddy Li comes to meet up with the mafia boss, asking him for a $1 million loan because he's gonna rig the fight, and this is where all the excess stuff comes in with Mai Li getting kidnapped and being abused by Tong Po. Abused is a very light word in comparison to what he does to her. So yeah, and then after that, and of course he comes and bets his money. He knows that JCVD is probably going to lose the fight with all the leverage that he has now, and Mai Li keeps it to herself. Well, she keeps it to her. Well, she keeps it away from Kurt, but she does tell her uncle, of course, and she does tell Winston eventually. Now JCVD once again training, and they kidnap the man in the wheelchair. Man, how fucked up is that? You know, he does put on a good fight, but they still kidnap him, and they kill the
Yeah.
dog.
No, the dog survives.
Well,
Yeah.
they almost kill the dog.
Attempted murder.
Yeah,
I do like
don't
how
yeah.
I do like how he's doing like the different hand motions he's been watching him do up to this point. So
yeah, it's a nice touch. And yeah, so Winston doesn't want any part of the Freddy Li stuff because now shit is actually getting, to quote Bad Boys, shit just got real, man. So yeah, he kind of already knows the Freddy Li situation, being someone who's lived there for a while, and he just doesn't want to do it. However, Miley does convince him by telling him that Freddy Li, Tong Po abused him, and she wants to keep it away from Kurt. So it kind of plays off her surviving and him saying that he is a survivor. It's like something understanding, and he decides to go and help Kurt. Now the final matches are about to start, and this clearly just looks like a video game arena, man. 100%. It looks fantastic. Tong Po is there looking like a menace. JCVD looking like a
clean shaven.
Snack?
Yeah, like
that looks like a headshot that he would have sent in. Like,
I don't know, between you and Uninspired, I don't know who has a crush more.
It's true. I was about to say, man, he's looking sexy, dude. What do you want me to say? Look at the difference between this and this. I know who I'd rather spend a night with. Like, come on, dude. Nice.
Well,
fresh
one
cut.
would be consensual and one clearly wouldn't. So I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one, you don't know. JCVD could be using those weird ass Xian Chow DIY techniques on you. So
I don't know. Just ask the niece.
It would
She had a
still be
night with Tong Po.
so they dip it in the glass. Tong Po is just
he's like legitimately psychotic looking, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Like,
good. They don't really give him any redeeming aspects, which I like.
yeah,
no
they
redeeming
definitely
aspects.
go to the max with it. And if anything, I guess all the extra stuff that's like, you could have did without this. If anything, it just kind of makes the other side look truly menacing. So, at best, that would be, something I could support.
Yep. Now, of course, Freddy Li just tells Eric, he tells Kurt that he's gonna have to throw the fight and make the crowd happy because hey, we have your people, and that's all we're gonna do. He now knows that his brother is gonna be in danger if he wins the fight, and so it begins. Now, I think this is round 1. Ready, go.
I don't think they ever actually tell you how many rounds it was going to be.
So I think it's 3 in total.
He tells him to go the distance and then dive at the end.
Lose every single round, but last to the end.
Yep, exactly. And man, I do like the fact that he kind of gets really beaten in the first round, despite him actually trying. It just goes to show you how strong Tong Po is. It's like, yep, even with your training, you still have to apply. You have to apply it in the real world and in the real fight situation, and it's tough to adjust yourself at the beginning of the fight. So,
also, Tong Po has a huge reach advantage and stuff. They show that.
Well, that is true. Yep,
he's probably about like 6 inches taller than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, okay, Dark Hour. So now, of course, we've got Old Man Jean. He's breaking into the place where Eric is held, and in the meanwhile, the fight is continuing. So this is still round 1 at this point. Yeah. And, JCVD is kind of getting used to it. What do you guys think of the final fight in general?
The only issue I really have with it is there's a little too much posing for me in terms of like mostly Tong Po, where like he'll throw a punch and it's like he holds it for a very long time sometimes. Yeah. And but he also, I'm not sure if he's aware that the fight is going to be thrown, and if he is, then that actually makes sense that he would be kind of playing it up.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's true.
Other than
'cause,
that, the
you
technique
are
is
still
fine.
fighting for you are still fighting for the crowd, you know,
Yeah.
and also
Yeah.
for the film as well.
Yeah, I think
I
maybe he's
agree.
super full of himself too, in a sense, because like he's
First.
he's kind of like I don't know, like they look to him as that guy in Thailand. So
Gooch.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Gooch?
Oh no, I was just gonna say when it comes to fight scenes and like especially something like this, I I think it's one of the better ones that have been out there in over the decades. There is some flaws, like Dark Hour said. There's a little too much posing for the camera. There's a little too much of, I guess, could say Hollywooded up. Make it look a little more dramatic and intense. But when it's all said and done, it's actually one of the better fight scenes overall when it comes
yes.
to the genre. Like it's especially an American film, like if you look at all the Asian films that are done, they're tight, they're choreographed really nicely. Even they have their flaws, but this is, I would say, one of the top.
Yeah, other than the posing thing, I actually
Yeah.
use this one a lot of times when I do my fight scene breakdowns as one that I use for example of good technique and execution, camera angles. So I use that a lot for this. Like I said, it's the posing thing. I can get over that. That's a small detail.
But
And
even
that's
like the plum where
yeah.
Well, even when he's doing the plum, they're showing a lot of techniques in this fight, and it's pretty cool.
I think the only reason why I probably have that negative opinion of the posing is because when I first started boxing, I used to do that a lot, where I would like hold the punch and like kind of like almost like admire my work. So it was sort of like bred out of me, to like it was like, I wouldn't say it was like fought out of me. Like my instructors would be like, "Don't do that. This is what happens." And punch me in the face. So like it might be like it might be like an aversion therapy kind of thing to those moments.
yeah, the punches, they everything looks like it's heavy. Like they really. I mean, I was an idiot as a kid, but I thought it was a real fight. that was 5. So I mean, it still holds up though.
Sparing with the blood and stuff too. Like it doesn't just go right into like he gets cut open. Like they use it dramatically really well.
And even the considering that this is before the time where one takes were really becoming a thing. Like today, if this was made today, they would have made this one take with the camera swerving everywhere. And I saw just take example on what they did with the Roadhouse, with the Jake Gyllenhaal movie. They have a lot of scenes like that where it's sort of one takes, just the fighting and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I agree, the movie is trash, but hey.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Cassie, I did a fight scene breakdown of that, of the final fight from it. So if you just want to watch the fight, the analysis of that, go check that out.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a modern way that they would have shot this,
But this is 89. This is pre-UFC. So a lot of these styles, people had no idea. Like even the hands up, that's traditional Muay Thai. Like you're doing your sweeps and everything.
The invisible broomstick. A lot of
well, Sagat from like Street Fighter, right? Like but like when the UFC came in, that's when everyone started to learn a lot of these fight styles, and it just kind of developed over through the decades of watching Pride and UFC and people picking their favorite and understanding it more. But like in '89, all we knew was like Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, a handful of others, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. So like everyone would just say, "Oh, he's a karate guy." That's what that's what you get labeled. So
and then, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like the showing of the adaptation throughout the film is really cool. I love that about this. Is so he comes in with a more traditional, let's call it an American style kickboxing, which has been proven to not work, and he adapts to using the style. And there's not many times you see that in movies, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it shows you a lot about it shows you how the character could improvise, adapt, and overcome the situation, and he knows what he has to do to win, and so they'll remember your training stuff as well. It's like, you've seen what it did to your brother, you have to switch it up because you will know the consequences of your actions. You already know what it leads to. Now, of course, at this point, Jean drives the car into where they're holding Eric, and we're almost done with the movie at this point. There's like one fight left. All right. And of course, they all aim their guns at him, but the coolest motherfucker around is already here. It is Winston, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
And he just saves everyone because he is an expert and he has everything you need. What does he say in the car? He's like, I've got like tanks, grenades, all that shit. Dude.
Yeah, he's become like an arms dealer, basically.
Exactly. And he blows everyone's shit up. And
but
that's always a trope, though. That's always a trope in movies, and like, I think this one, I think one or two others had that guy that was always in Vietnam and just decided to stay. You see that in a lot of, especially in the 90s, you see that too, where that guy is just like an arms dealer or a drug dealer, or just there because it's cheap living, and
well, he said he had nothing left back to go to. That was what it was.
Yeah,
everything that was back in America was no longer useful to him, basically. And I think that this is a very appropriate final slide for the Gooch to make his exit based on where this thing is. I was so hoping that you had this for this moment. But yeah, unfortunately, our boy Gooch has got to make an exit here. So,
dude, we only have like 8 slides left, man.
On justice for Miley.
Well, if you can get through them quickly, I can stick around for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude, we can get through them in what 10 minutes. We can get through them. Honestly, no joke. No,
this
joke.
movie just kind of ends. There's not really like a cool off.
Dude. So of course, this is the this is the second round, second or third. I don't remember well. So of course,
second round because he's not cut open yet.
Yeah, there we go. Second round. This is the one where he gets cut open, I think. And you can see that he's actually dodging stuff now, which is just he is he's on the defense, of course, but he's kind of sizing up Tong Po and seeing how it is. It's only when he gets the Miley news where it's like, yeah, all right, he gets that
he goes
motivation, Exactly. It's like, the power of friendship, my brother. All right.
Now, right here, this would be the end of this fight. I'm sorry. That would be like 27 unanswered punches with glass on your hands.
Yep, you'd be done. And well, I mean, he is kind of done here. It's like, I'm telling you, it's the anime powers that make him come back to life. It's like, what does he say? He's like, Miley is a good fuck. That's what he says.
He says, you bleed like Miley. She a good fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty, man, to say. Dude.
It takes away any redemption arc you could possibly have for Tong Po.
Because there is a way that you could have just done it, like, Tong Po, he has this, he's just a good fighter, but he kind of got mixed up in all of this Freddy Li gang stuff.
Yeah, like he's being exploited. They have
you could have done that. It was like, nah, he's just a psychopath.
And if you've ever seen any of the sequels to this movie, he gets worse and worse and worse as the movie.
Yo, that's crazy.
He becomes like Freddy. Like it's like Freddy Li and Tong Po kind of almost become the same character in like the later ones. They're not nearly as good as the first one. They're all direct to DVD kind of stuff, but or I guess it was VHS. But yeah, he gets even less redemption later.
Jesus. So at this point, Miley finally tells JCVD what happened, and he goes Super Saiyan, of course. Completely just bare knuckle. He doesn't care about the glass. He's like, "Fuck it, man. We're gonna do this shit for real." And I love the confidence, man. It's just fantastic. Plus, hey, who doesn't like to look at a oiled up JCVD kicking some dudes, man?
Clearly, at least 2 people on this panel see that shit.
Look, you saw the way his pecs jiggle, dude. This jiggle physics.
Okay, not even I'm going that far. Damn.
So I would like to point out that this is some of the best usage of jump cuts you'll ever see. You never lose track of where they are. It's always the scale, like where they are in the ring, what's going on. The cut always starts again, sometimes replays it, which can be a little annoying from time to time. But
the editing is really done really well in this movie.
Well, it keeps everything in frame. So, for example, if they were on the right side of the frame and they cut, they're still going to be on the right side of the frame. It's so your eyes don't really have to adjust as quickly. You see what I mean? So it's like everything there is center frame. If they go to the right, boom, you see the next cut
this
it
is
goes
exactly
there.
that. Like right here, that's a fantastic cut right there because you never lose track of where they are and stuff. It's sometimes
nice.
like that, sometimes they go with like the triple take. I'm not always a big fan of that. It's forgivable in this instance, but a lot of almost that's like 99 out of 100 when it comes to editing right there.
I gotta bounce, guys.
All right, dude.
I'm really sorry I have to leave.
Yeah, no
you
worries,
have to
man.
just plug something real quick. I know you have a show. You're gonna be on
dude, you gotta plug your shit, man. Plug your shit segment, man. So do it. Tell the people what you're doing.
Well, Diabolical Souls presents. I'm doing an animation block Tuesdays. We got X-Men 97 at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have animated.
I'm gonna get on one of those. Wednesday. I promise you, I'll get on one.
And Wednesdays is animated movie nights. We do all the best animated movies of the decades. And then Thursdays is anime night, 10 o'clock Eastern. So, and we're doing Demon Slayer right now. So, yeah, it's been great. I love doing something I'm passionate about. The chat has been awesome. Even today, I really loved hanging out today. I wish I didn't have to go, but it was nice hanging out with you guys.
Dude, it's our pleasure, man.
You're always welcome, Jay.
Oh, thank you. And you guys are always welcome on my channel. So it was great. It was great seeing you again, Cass. I love hanging out with you.
Have a great rest of your day, man.
Yeah. Thank you. You guys have a great stream. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
See you, Gooch. Take care, man.
I know that motherfucker's out of here.
Oh no!
I do that every time someone leaves.
So I mean, I literally have like one clip and 2 slides left. So
it's fine. He told me ahead of time that he was probably gonna have to leave.
Oh yeah.
So.
All right. So of course, at this point, Tong Po gets desperate because I guess you could infer that his life would be on the line. Him and Freddy Li's lives would be on the line.
Even if he wasn't gonna be like put to death, like his whole thing, he would have no livelihood really. His whole thing is he's the muscle, and if he loses, he loses his standing. So like even if it doesn't really matter what the situation would be. He's
that guy.
Especially losing in such a disrespectful way is what I would say. It's not even a Thai dude that comes and fucks you up.
That's especially bad because he's a Gaijin. So it's and they've not only is that he's built his own legend. They call him Nuke So Cow or however.
Okay,
Cow. I read it a couple of times because I had the captions on. It's like NUKSOKAW, Nuke So Cow, which means like white warrior. So like he's already he's building his own legend next to Tong Po.
Yeah, he's taking over Tong Po's dominance, and I do have one clip which actually has audio, so we can watch this one. Fuck yeah, dude.
I love. Oh, go ahead, Cassie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that kick to his face is brutal.
I love it, especially because then he just pivots like 6 to 8 inches to his left and kicks Freddy Li in the face.
Yeah. Right after he kicks Freddy Li, he's like, "Yep, that's it." I do love the final blows, man. The nice slow motion, and then this one just out of the ring, boom, one kick and done. That's what he needed to take down the champ. And he is now the champ in Thailand, where they're the best of the best, as they said at the beginning of the movie. That's where it was invented. So technically, he is the champion of all champions.
So and if you want to go based on like lineal champion, so like the term lineal champion, you'll see sometimes in more so in boxing. But a lineal. So if I beat a fighter who was a champion, but let's say he got stripped of his title because he didn't want to fight in that organization anymore. The lineal championship is you beat the man. So so Tong Po beat his brother. So the lineal kickboxing champion would be Tong Po. Now he just beat Tong Po, so he's actually now like the lineal champion, if you want to go that way.
He is the one and only champ at this point. So yeah, he's better than his brother. And man,
I
it's
didn't know
something-
the actual term in Thai. I just went with the Japanese term. I didn't know what the term was.
Boo, Dark Hour's a fraud, ladies and gentlemen.
I never said I speak Thai.
And this is the last shot of the movie, man. All's well that ends well. I guess these guys aren't gonna get assassinated by goons once they leave the area.
Well, unless you see the second movie, which that's how they like write off Kurt, is he gets like killed off camera.
What?
Jesus, are you kidding me?
And they bring in like a third brother. It's like
no fucking way,
Oh
dude.
my god!
I mean, I only saw the sequel once, and I never bothered with the third and fourth one because I like these are. If that one was that bad, I can't imagine the third and fourth one being good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Kickboxer. Boom. And here's some a couple of behind the scenes images that I found.
that is might possibly the most 80s picture.
The one on the right.
Absolutely.
Dude, yeah, it's great, man. And all these dudes were fucking ripped. They were they knew what they were doing. That's what you can appreciate about this movie.
Yeah,
is that
steroids.
people-
That's what they were doing.
No,
but like
the only cool motherfucker right there, dude.
Yeah, like I said though, Dennis Lesia wasn't even in like fight shape anymore at this point. His career was over. But like, if you look at pictures, let me see if I can find a picture of him for like during his career.
Yeah, maybe how big he was.
I think it's worthy saying, like, watch his brother have he failed by being so full of himself and really just thinking that automatically he was the best of the best when he haven't even technically challenged the best, and he got destroyed
Here
when
we
he went
go.
to the Heartland.
I found a pretty decent picture. Hold on, let me just.
And
It's
then
a very
watching-
simple story, but
Exactly,
it works
yeah.
well in the execution, which is what I really do appreciate.
I guess you
And,
could argue that Kurt is about, it goes about it for rage, but I mean, even so, it's about more than just himself too.
It's like
Oh,
here,
yeah.
like he was like significantly more shredded during his like he's a much lower body fat percentage at this point. Obviously, when you retire from pro fighting, you don't worry about that stuff anymore. So,
Yeah.
but this is a picture from him when he was the world cruiserweight kickboxing champion. So he was, which is about, I'm guessing if it's the same as boxing cruiserweight, it's probably it's like 215, 220 in that range.
That's like foreign numbers to me right there, dude. I don't know what the fuck that means.
But yeah, like you can see, like right there, he's got like more body fat on him there, which is fine. He had already done his 100 fights or whatever, Like,
dude, and yeah, man, that was Kickboxer. For anyone who's never seen it but was watching the stream, I do recommend the movie, man. I think you'll have a great time. Plus, it's short; it's 90 minutes.
It's an in and out kind of film. It's like you pop it on, you watch it, and like it doesn't, like I said, it just kind of just ends. Like you don't, there's no cool down afterwards. It's like we don't need that shit. You won the fight.
Literally, this is the end. The end of the fight. He kicks the Tong Po. He kicks Freddy Li.
Yeah.
He goes and hugs them, and then the credits literally start rolling on this frame.
Oh yeah. What more do you need?
Yep. Back when they knew how to just end movies pretty quickly, man.
Thank you, David.
Thank
you, David. Much appreciated.
On in the very near future, in about 2 weeks, to do an interview
Awesome.
with him about obviously this movie, but also Bloodsport. Working with Cynthia Rothrock, working with he's done movies with the list goes on. Like I'm not going to sit here. We'll
save it for the interview, man.
Save it for the interview. But Bruce Campbell, another one that he's worked with.
Nice.
Groovy.
I'm glad that he appreciated our, like it's
Absolutely.
obviously we were fairly, nice to the film, but
this is genuinely a fun movie to watch if you're interested in some R-rated content that really is just fun. It's nothing, it's not necessarily depthful, but you're just looking for something that has some really beautiful cinematography that you want to watch some people kick the shit out of each other. It's a great watch.
It's kind of a cut above the rest, especially for the time that it came out. It's one of those things that I do think stands the test of time, and all the stuff of its era of when it was made still is just it's it's a nice feeling to it now. You know, you can still just look back and be like, it doesn't really mess up the tone of what it was going for. It's cheesy, but it acknowledges the fact that it's kind of
Every
cheesy in
80s
those
movie was
elements.
cheesy, though. That's just what it was at the time. The music, like, kind of being over the top and stuff. That was just that era, you know, and it's like, you got to take that into account, that they would have that 80s rock feel to it. And, you know.
Yeah, it's like it knows what it is, and it doesn't really fuck it up, because a lot of movies know what they are, but they still manage to shift tones so drastically to the point where there are a couple of scenes where you, or even full sequences where you'll be thinking, man, this is just kind of weird.
Happened.
But yeah, but here it's nice. It knows what it is. It's a really quick in and out. I do recommend the film. I'll probably rewatch it again sometime. You know, probably in the
Honestly,
next
this is one
6
of those ones
months.
I go back to every like 2 or so years and watch. You know, I really enjoy. I think it holds up well. And
Yep.
I think Gooch said it best, is that at the time no one really knew what Muay Thai was. You know,
Yeah.
which m- when you now with going into it knowing what Muay Thai is, to see that they didn't like fuck it up. You know, they held true to the traditions. They held true to the look, the style, everything. It's pretty cool, because they could have easily just been like,
Yeah.
nah, Muay Thai is just karate. Here you go. It's like, now
Yep.
there is a little bit of a karate aspect to it, because Jean-Claude Van Damme does add that, but you know.
Yeah, it's still it still respects the culture, and that's one of the most important things as well. You know, it tries to show you something authentic, and yeah, authenticity is the name of the game, and it's one of the best factors of rewatching a film, is seeing the people actually put love into what they were doing. And yeah, there's clearly a lot of love put into it. You can go from the score, from what was his name, Herzog's score, to the cinematography as well, to the simple story and good execution of it. I think it's a classic, man.
I did not, so I just looked it up because I wanted to see who was in, like, who did Kickboxer 2. I'm shocked by this. It's David S. Goyer was the writer.
No way, dude. The dude
Yeah.
that made Blade 3, you know, Blade
Yeah.
Trinity. Oh, wow.
Are you surprised?
Oh.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
but he still has some decent stuff. You know, Batman
Dude, he has,
Begins is
like-
really good. You know,
He has like 3 decent movies. That's pretty much it. But
Yeah.
but yeah. Any last thoughts on the movie before we end this one?
No, I mean, I think we did a good job, but I'll throw it to Cassie first, 'cause she's our guest. So
Yeah. It's still a fun watch. I mean, there's some silly acting, but you could tell that it wasn't necessarily about the acting with this film. It's about people who can execute fighting moves well.
Mhm.
And that, if you appreciate that, then this is definitely a film for you. Like I said, R-rated content. I'm always interested in something that's not for kids at this point, that's actually good. Like, if you go to the cinema now, the only good films are films that are made for children. It's so sad to say that, but when, like, you have some of these films out now that's like, this looks like complete garbage. It's not, it's not rated G, but I'd rather go watch, Puss in Boots: Last Wish, which I think is actually a really well done film.
I still need to
And
see that. Everyone told me how
so
great it was. I
good.
still need to go back and see it.
It's genuinely
Dude.
good. It's so much better than the mass majority of crap that's shit slung on movie theater screens. So sad, but
It
shout out
does.
to
It
that
does
film.
suck that cinema is almost like a dying medium, and it's just not the same anymore. I
Yeah.
was actually, I was training this morning, and one of the guys I train with mentioned something. He was like, Russ, it sucks for these kids nowadays. And I went, what the fuck? Where is this going? And he was like, and he goes, they're never gonna really know what that like summer blockbuster was. It's like it's a dying thing. And I was like, you know what? He's right. He's like,
Yeah.
it's like we're in June, and what was the summer blockbuster this year? Like,
Yeah.
what was the
true.
thing that we're building towards? Deadpool 3? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, man. I feel like every movie, well, cinemas have become this only blockbuster thing, and that's kind
but
of
they're not even blockbusters. That's the
yeah,
problem.
exactly. They're not really even blockbusters. They're not cultural phenomenons, you know.
Where's the Jurassic Park that like changed the way people like thought about movies? Where's
Oh,
the
dude, the next Jurassic Park movie has just the next Jurassic World movie actually started filming not too long ago. So yeah, we've got another one on the way, folks.
The reality is that if you're trying to be the guy that makes the next best thing, you will have a bunch of suits and ties beating the shit out of you and telling you to make the same thing that's been done 100 times over, and that's just what it is now.
Yep, exactly. You don't really have any creative control anymore. That's the big issue. That's why people are watching indie movies a ton now.
Yeah, I'm
But
going to check out that one that Indian movie that's coming out. That's like their version of Dune. I forget it's Kalaki or something like that.
what
It's
the
coming out.
fuck?
I don't know. I popped up on my Cinemark app and was like, "Do you want a ticket to this?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? It can't be any worse than what I've been watching from United States." Like,
Oh, dude, yeah, man. It's interesting to see the state of cinema, and
I
yeah,
think
if
that they would be better served doing smaller films like this. Smaller budget films.
Absolutely.
If this made 50 million back in 1989, you could easily get to 50 million. I am going it's really blurry all of a sudden. Hollywood's cutting my internet. They're like, no, don't tell them about cheap movies. But yeah, the budgets are going insane.
Yeah.
And
But that's the issue, is the mid to low budget movies. Well, yeah, they don't exist anymore.
like, let's see.
Yeah.
I'll do the
You would
math
think
real
that the
quick for
Joker,
what-
think that films like the Joker would teach Hollywood, like, stop. But no, they just continue to, like, get these astronomically expensive
Mhm.
films out, and it's like,
So we'll say it was filmed in 1988. And
Yeah,
so
but
let's see,
that's the
2
that's the massive issue, is that when you have so much money behind it, unless you're someone like, let's say, Spielberg or Scorsese, that actually has the leverage to make something that is 100% your creative vision, then you're never going to be able to make it. You look at something like any big budget movie. There's too much money backing it for it not to
Well,
be made by committee anymore.
even
So I
Spielberg's
just did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying
Yeah.
even Spielberg's doing bullshit now, like his West Side Story remake.
It's kind of just doing vanity projects at this point, and that's kind
So-
of annoying.
So I just did the math on an inflation calculator here. If they were to do Kickboxer right now, granted, JCVD would be way more expensive, but if they were to use that budget that they had, $7.3 million. So even if you had the 50 million it made back then, not adjusting for inflation, that's a massive success. Like,
Yeah.
now, obviously, you have to adjust for it. The quick math in my head, 2.7 to 7.3 is like 2.5. So you're talking about probably about it would have made like 120 million, give or take. If you do the and it's just so, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see more stuff like this.
Yeah, man. The sad state that we live in now of Hollywood, dude. It'll bring
Yeah.
a tear to your eye. And yeah, I mean, what are your, just random question before we end?
Yeah, we got a little time. Yeah, normally it doesn't go this way. Normally we go about 3 hours, so we got a little extra time.
Yeah, what are your personal, most anticipated movies of the summer? It doesn't have to be a blockbuster, just of the summer season, if you guys have any.
Even coming out. So, let's see.
Okay, apart from
Maybe.
Deadpool 3, if you're hyped.
Yeah.
If you're hyped
I mean,
with,
maybe Deadpool 3 is gonna get me there. And even that, it's like, this is the first time in years I watched a Disney, Marvel film.
You
which is,
know
I
what's
guess,
one
saying
that
a
I'm
lot.
actually kind of interested in, to see if they could finally recapture that glory, is Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah.
That one's interesting for sure.
Because it does seem like they might be going back to that route. Other than that, going down the line here, nothing's jumping out at me.
No, man. Me
I don't
personally,
I know
even
you
know.
Twisters for you. I know.
yeah, I'm hyped as fuck for Twisters, dude. Like, holy shit, man. My hype for that is out of the literally out the roof at this point.
I don't even go out of my way to even figure out what's coming out anymore. It's so sad.
Luckily
that I
for you,
don't care.
your content is mostly stuff you could do from home with a video game. So it's
That's true.
Absolutely.
I have to go to the theater and do this shit.
But you know what? I would be so happy to go to the movie theaters to see something I'm genuinely excited for, hoping that it'd be, like once I heard that Godzilla -1 was heat, I was like, I like dragged my best friends to the movie theater. We have to watch this movie. Like, we have to. I was so hyped.
That's the only
Yeah.
movie that I've come across right now that I'm like, have to see in theaters.
Dude,
Everything else is like definitely could wait until.
Yeah, could wait until streaming, basically. That's pretty much it.
Hell is
And that's the
this
mindset
Bambi
of
the Reckoning? What the
everyone.
hell is Bambi the Reckoning?
Oh, that's supposed to
Oh,
be a
dude,
horror
it's-
film.
It's part of the Pooverse, man. It's part of the Pooverse.
The Pooverse is insane.
It is, yeah, it's part of the Pooverse, man. It's the next one, and
that just goes to show that talented individuals can do a lot with a little in terms of, it's like.
Yeah. I mean, there's the one film that I'm genuinely like, oh my god, I have to go see that is what's his name from the Godfather?
Well,
Francis Ford Coppola?
Francis Ford Coppola's new film. That's the one
Megalopolis,
thing that's like I have to stop everything to see this movie.
I don't even know if it's gonna get a worldwide release, man.
Apparently, it's gonna get released, so that is confirmed. But I need to see this movie. What they're saying about it, what they're shitting on it for, is just like everything I'm looking forward to. Like it's too weird, it's too out there, it's too different. It's like, thank you. Oh, you're shitting on it for this? Good. That means I have to go see it.
It's unique. How dare it be unique?
From the shit slung garbage that we keep seeing every time a new film releases. Must see.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those rare cases again where it's someone who has 100% creative control on a massive budget movie. So it's like I would genuinely take the risk to go watch it at the cinema. And it's weird because we say going to the cinema now is kind of a risk because of how expensive just going to the theater is. Like, holy shit, dude.
I mean, hey, if you buy actual movie theater stuff, I mean, what? Not me.
I still like theater popcorn.
Dude, I love theater popcorn, dude. Like if I go inside the theater and it doesn't smell like popcorn, I'm gonna riot for real. Like it's the smell, the sensation of sitting down, waiting for the movie, having all the ads play. I love watching trailers in the cinema, dude. I just think it's a nice entertaining way. It's like, man, that experience is something that I will always adore. Always. And that, I go to the cinema alone a lot of times, man. And sometimes I have to drag my dad with me, but yeah. Then whenever I drag my dad with me, we're alone at the cinema, dude. Cassie, have you seen my when I went to watch Bad Boys 4 in the IMAX theater? Dude, it was just me and my dad. That was it.
Right?
The entire theater.
Yeah, honestly, I live for that kind of stuff where I have the movie theater to myself. You would think like a rich person would have to buy out the theater to do that, but hey, man, if you get it for free, you get it for free.
I rented a theater once during COVID because they did like a thing, and it was like $100 to rent the theater, and you could bring like 20 people. It's like,
what'd you watch?
Yeah, because they were making nothing. They were making no money, so they were like, whatever, just anything, please.
What did you end up watching?
Sonic the Hedgehog. I actually really like Sonic the Hedgehog. Those movies.
I still haven't seen that one, dude.
We'll do them on here. I need to. I've already. I'm in the process of booking Two Hoes Debate Sonic versus Mario. So
yeah.
Oh no,
Cassie, this is my theater experience. That's my dad over there.
That's beautiful. That is amazing. Absolutely, I love it.
Full blown IMAX theater, man. Just the two of us, and that
you
was
just
pretty
throw
much
your
the
feet up on the
entire
seat in front of you and just not give a shit. It's amazing.
Yeah, this is theaters, ladies and gentlemen. Opening night, of course, too.
Damn, that is wild. I mean, I think pretty much everyone feels like some of these movies are just played out already. Like, you think I'm going to go to a movie theater to see Bad Boys 4 as much as I like the first and second films? Like, no, bro, that's just
if they would have guaranteed that Chris Rock was in that movie, I would have went to go see it.
Oh no.
Oh man, but yeah, if you do have some extra time to go to the theater, man, I do recommend Bad Boys 4. My most anticipated movie of the summer is Twisters, but that's a personal thing because I'm just a huge tornado fan, man. I'm just fascinated by tornadoes, and especially it's very rare to get big budget tornado movies. The only ones are the original Twister and Into the Storm that are pretty decent, but the rest of them are just mediocre. Except if you count something like that Tomorrow movie, man.
Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, Day After Tomorrow, exactly.
That Tomorrow movie. Yeah. 24 hours from now, that one.
Yeah.
I always have a soft spot for 70s disaster flicks.
Yeah, they're so fun.
Absolutely, I love it.
Yeah, he looks like Dr. Evil. But
I would say we're approaching the 2.5 hour mark.
man,
I say we let
2.5 hours.
Cassie plug her shit, and then
wait. Let me get the video, man.
Absolutely.
Cassie, it's time to
Let's
plug your
go.
shit, my man. So yeah, let,
Love
let
the
the
Fall Out
people know
Boy.
let the people know what you're doing, what you've done, or what you're gonna do. And all of the links are already in the description, so please check her out.
Appreciate it.
I'll also plug a link in the chat right now. But let the people know what you're doing.
Thank you. First off, it's amazing being here. Love talking about Kickboxer. It's a film that obviously I have like this, childhood, attachment to. So it's really cool. And anytime to talk about Jean-Claude Van Damme is also very nice for me. So
I'll
thank you.
keep that note. Don't worry.
Anything martial arts, man.
But
I wish
specifically for Jean-Claude Van Damme, don't worry. You're invited to all of them.
like I wish more people would talk about Angela Mao because I think that she's absolutely amazing. She's the girl that plays Bruce Lee's sister in Enter the Dragon. Not a lot of people know, but she's Lady Kung Fu. So stuff like that. I'd love to
I'm
talk
sure she'll
about
be in something.
more. But yeah, guys, if you're interested in particularly gaming content, definitely check out my channel, Cult Classic Cage. I talk about everything from films that are, video games that are upcoming, or like the interesting political aspects of gaming, sadly, that we have to deal with now. So I try not to bombard. I try not to bombard too much with all the woke slash anti woke jargon. I definitely, if it needs to be brought up, it definitely is brought up, but we
Oh
don't
yeah.
kind of go deep dive into that. Definitely try to keep more of the gaming aspect of things. And hey, if you're a channel member, you have actually got a Godzilla review up there too.
Nice.
So some things that I genuinely am passionate about that I do want to talk about, but doesn't quite fit in the channel. It ends up kind of being channel membership vids, which is, that works out where I can kind of discuss things from a passionate level and also, do things that don't kill the channel. So there's that. I've been streaming a lot on Twitch where we've been playing video games, been recently playing Batman Arkham Asylum, which is it
Nice.
aged so well. Oh my God. It's an amazing video
That's
game.
a
game to this
movie
day.
in a video game. That's what that is. That's a
Absolutely,
cinematic
man.
experience. It really is.
In all the best ways possible while
Not in
not
that Kojima
taking-
way.
Yeah, like you still have complete control over what's going on, which is what I appreciate about video games that know that they're video games and try not to be cinema slung shit where they rip the controller out of your hands every 10 seconds. Yeah.
Oh
Batman
yeah,
Arkham
dude.
Asylum is amazing for that.
Fuck yeah. I think like I don't know if it's a controversial opinion, but it's my it's an opinion that I have a few people like True Pop, I know he agrees with me. I do think that Batman, oh shit, I already forgot the name of the game, dude.
Arkham Asylum
The-
or Batman
no,
Arkham
no,
Trilogy?
there's no the Arkham trilogy, then there's the other one that they did, the spin-off. Man, I forgot the name. The one where it's
Oh,
on the
Origins?
Christmas Eve. Yeah, Arkham Origins. I do think Arkham Origins is the best Arkham game because it is a beautiful mix of all the gameplay aspects from Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but you don't have all the extra stuff that they added for Arkham Knight. So it's basically
Yeah.
the core gameplay experience perfected at the max for that game. But it's also good to have the all the the rogues gallery in one game in one night with the plot that actually makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's fantastic. Having Gotham in the snow, dude, it's
I
like
wanted to enjoy Arkham Origins, but unfortunately, it glitch saved on me and fucked up my entire experience. So there's that.
oh,
Yeah, back on
dude.
the PS3, man. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. I just got bad luck of the draw. So
You should retry it on PC. The PC version is good. The only thing is
Mhm.
don't go inside Penguin's club to look for the Riddler trophy in there because it'll probably bug out and you won't be able to play the game anymore. It happened to me when I was on the last Riddler trophy, about to get 100%. So I never got 100% of
Dang,
the game because of that. But yeah,
that's
that's the
tough.
only like glitch in there. But the
Yeah.
PC port is pretty good. You should try it out. It's great.
Okay, definitely. I appreciate the recommendation because I've always just kind of assumed never gonna play that, sadly. But yeah. Last but not least, follow me on Twitter. You wanna talk to me
Yeah.
directly? So yeah.
Or just watch her argue
Cult
with
Class
people. It's
Cage.
fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I like to
Cassie does
do.
not pull her punches. She doesn't give a fuck.
That's one thing I try to keep to when I'm working. Because I do a whole lot of nothing at work. So arguing with console
tell them that.
gremlin fanboys is like my go-to when I'm at work doing nothing. But when I'm like, actually off work, I try not to do that so much.
Yeah. And plus, like Dark Hour, he also has this gaming stuff that he does. He's been playing Onimusha. Plus, I sent
Well,
Dark
no, I
Hour.
beat Onimusha and then all the Resident Evil games. I'm gonna take them
Yeah.
down and I'm gonna
Awesome.
repost them.
Plus, I
Hell
sent
yeah.
like Dark Hour. Have you watched the 5-hour video on Onimusha yet?
No, I didn't watch that one.
Aw,
I keep
dude.
thinking about. Sorry, it's I was doing shit.
Yeah, 5
Oh,
hours. That's amazing, though. It's about
oh yeah.
as long as the fucking game itself. Holy
It's
shit.
longer than the game. The game can be beaten in like 3 hours, like 2 hours.
Uh, All
Anyway.
right. Well, yeah. I guess it's my time to plug my shit. But before I do that, man, thanks again, man, for coming on, Cassie. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, in terms of me, video content has been slow, but it shall be coming out very, very soon because what has been holding me back is well, you know, it's kind of been dealt with now. But yeah, so going back, I do have a list of stuff that I'm gonna do. As I said on the last live stream, I'm focusing more on big videos rather than the small weekly stuff because time and work, I generally don't have time to make a small video. So it's probably gonna be one video per month, one big video, and I'm trying to crack in one small video as well. You know, so that could work. The next big video I think is gonna be, I guess, Deadpool. When does that? I don't even know when that comes out. Dude.
Mid-July.
26th. That's literally the day before my birthday.
Oh well, happy birthday in advance. I'll be the first one to tell
thank
you
you,
that.
sir.
There you go.
Appreciate you.
So it's the end of July. Sorry, I thought it was like the 17th.
All right, end of July. Well, if anything good comes out before that, I know Twisters is the week before. I'll probably do a Twisters review, man. If it sucks, dude, I just hope that I don't get my dreams crushed like the Meg 2. Man, Meg 2 was such a disappointment. It was literally my movie of the year. Like, I was my most hyped movie of the year. And then I watched it in cinemas, dude. Me and my brother-in-law almost fell asleep. We were like, man, fuck this shit. So
Well, if the Twister runtime is over 2 hours, it's probably gonna be shit. I'm just saying.
listen, man, I'm a sucker for Glenn Powell too. So as long as he's there, he has a southern charm. I'm good. I'm good with it.
Okay.
You know, he can carry the movie. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for me. Some two hosts news. A couple of the next two hosts will be hosted on Dark Hours channel.
Yes.
So don't be surprised if you don't see them on my channel. I think it's gonna be the next 4 or 5 episodes or something like that, around that. So yeah, so don't be surprised if they're not on my channel. So yeah,
a couple of reasons for it, one of which is that we're going to also see experiment with the same channel for a while, see if it helps the audience be a little bit easier to find us, but a few other reasons too.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah, Dark Hour.
Don't worry, I'll still pay uninspired if we the digital money can be transferred. It's really
Dark Hour, man. Since it's your channel, what's your last thing for the public?
So I guess I'm going to continue doing the Acolyte because that was by far my most successful video in terms of converting people as to subscribers. So and I had a lot of fun tearing that apart, and I found a nice cool little format that doesn't require that I do every single episode each week. I'm gonna do pockets of episodes. There was 3 for the first one, probably gonna be 3 for the second one, then I think it would have to be 2 for the last one. Other than that, like I said, Deadpool is probably going to be one that I do. It's probably the last big movie of the year in terms of people actually caring, and you know, sticking with two hoes, doing what we do. You know, we got next week. No, next week we're off. Then we have Mr. David Worth is coming in for an interview, and then Karate Kid is coming up as well, and Pulp Fiction. We got a lot of really good. The rest of the year is like bangers. It's like the whole rest of the year. I backloaded this year on good movies. So
yeah, we've got some banger guests, banger movies for those banger guests, of course, and
bangers and mash. We're going all out.
Yeah, we do have the re-upload channel for those of you who don't know. It's in the description. Uninspired Hour. This video will probably stay up on Dark Hours channel till like Monday or something like that.
Yeah, this one I'll probably leave up till like Monday. Yeah,
then after it switches to the re-upload channel. But you know, to facilitate that, I'll make Dark Hour post it as a pinned comment under this so that you know people can just one click.
I'll do it as soon as I can.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I think we're pretty done, aren't we? Right?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Well, we just want to say, wait. We just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. Massive thank you for your.
You guys are amazing.
2.5 hours with us, man.
We try to put on the best show we possibly can.
Yes, we always do, man. We always have to try and outdo ourselves. Massive thank you to the chat. You guys are on fire tonight. And I hope you guys, all of you in the chat, have a lovely rest of your day, afternoon, evening. I don't know what time zones you guys
West
are
Coast
in.
is going to have afternoon, so.
All right, well, I guess we're done. Take care, everyone.